Hello. Oh, hello, and welcome to a very special episode. It's the 100th ever Aunties Could Never podcast episode. You have never, because we have never done this before. It's our 100th episode. Welcome, guys. I'm Auntie AK, and I'm here with
Auntie Farah,
Auntie Nana,
and Auntie Sade.
So along with it being our 100th episode, it is also International Women's Day. We couldn't have planned it any better. We're 100 and it's International Women's Day. This is a whole multitude of celebration of being a woman, what women's all about. Your Aunties Could Never is 100 episodes old, and I'm very proud. How do you guys feel about being 100 episodes deep?
Good. I mean, well done us. And the universe is aligned. So, you know, in what do they call it? Women History Month? Is that what they call it?
Yeah, within Women History Month today, it's International Women's Day. Yeah.
Yes, kind of thing. And I think, guys, thanks for sticking with us and listening to us and encouraging us to keep going. Like, definitely, it's definitely been good. Better word than good. It's been great.
Better word than good. Fantastic.
Yes.
We're 100. Are we 100 years on? 100 episodes.
There's successful TV shows that never made it to 100 episodes. So
definitely.
Now I'm saying
that is very
props
true.
to us. Mad props to us, I would say.
Extreme props to the Aunties. Okay, so
we've done 200 hours or more, probably more, like 250
more than
hours of podding. Like we're well on our way to becoming experts.
Wow.
Absolutely.
We're very close.
Along with being auntie experts, wise experts, we're actually experts in podcasting now.
Yeah, I think that can go on our CVs.
Experts.
I'm going to add my, what do you call it? Black listed profile.
Thank you.
Also, I'm waiting for Auntie AK to do mines for me.
Wow.
Look at the privilege. Look at the privilege.
She's not going to do it. That's why she's looking like that. Because she won't do it. But I just want her to. Because, yeah.
Okay.
Congratulations. Yay, you. On your website, on the database, and the amazing things that you're doing. Welcome to the family.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
You should have jumped ahead. You should have done it in the right place. But yes, I'll talk about that later. But yes, okay. No, I'm not doing a profile for you, fam. Anyway, we're going to run through the show. The show's going to be a bit of a different one. We're going to go back through some of our favorites. Well, what we did technically and scientifically was pick from our top listened shows of each month. So we were very technical with it all. But alongside that, we're just going to pick out some of the news stories that we spoke about within some of those shows and just get into what's going on. Because we're kind of like an archive. We're an almanac. We're a wealth of depth of knowledge about what's happened in the culture, in news and politics. People rate us on our 100th episode. You don't understand what you got from us, Aunties. Gold. We're going to go through our past dilemmas where we've advised. We're going to talk about the news stories that we brought to light. We brought you news and politics and information and conspiracy theories, most definitely. So before we get into the archive, let me get into the real blurb. Your aunties have arrived. The party can start. So get your plates, get your drinks, and we're about to start the show. Auntie Farah, do we have a 100th episode warm-up game?
Sorry. I just have a quick question, yeah? Because I had not heard of the word almanac before, so I had to Google.
Are you being serious?
I'd never heard of that word before. Like I literally was like, "Oh, that's a new word for me to put in my bag." It's a good one. Like, well done for introducing that new word to me. Like, it actually means an annual calendar of important dates and statistical information. I was like, that's brilliant. Thank you. Just
Yeah,
need
like-
to highlight that
My
word.
mum still calls it an almanac.
Seriously.
That's how she refers to it. Bring me my almanac. Yeah. She doesn't say calendar, it's almanac.
I learned something today. Thank you.
Oh, well, there you go. Aunties teaching as we do in 100th episode of information and knowledge. Aye, Auntie Farah, you got a welcome to warm-up game for the 100th
Yes.
episode.
One
Go
does
ahead.
have a warm-up game. Hold
Go
on.
ahead. Go ahead.
It's not specially for being 100 or anything. It's just a warm-up game. Right. So this is because we're 100, I feel like maybe we can share things that we may have not totally shared before or skimmed over. So here we go. Would you rather wrestle naked in a pool of jelly or a pool of chocolate sauce?
Chocolate because I prefer chocolate. It smells nice.
I like jelly as well, you know. I kind of like both of them. I think jelly. I can eat a lot of jelly. I think jelly.
I think jelly would be easier to move in. So jelly.
I'm interested in the fact that both Auntie Nala and Auntie Sade thought about eating it.
I didn't say eat it. I said like the smell.
Oh, you said smell. Okay.
Because I'm not going to eat
Auntie Nala, would you really want to eat something that you're wrestling in?
No.
Yeah, well, it's going to go in your mouth anyway, isn't it? It's like,
but you're wrestling with someone else in jelly. Unless it's like, okay, fair enough. I don't know.
No. I'm not eating it. But
the risk of it going in your mouth. Go on.
I can smell it. I can enjoy the smell, but I don't want it in my mouth. That's gross.
And the rest of the jelly is a little firmer, so it wouldn't go into so many places as chocolate sauce.
Yeah. There's that too.
There's also the consistency, because if it's quite watery, then you could actually fall through it a lot more and hit the ground quicker with jelly. Whereas chocolate's a bit more stiffer consistency, so you'd keep afloat more.
Okay.
Have you thought about this before?
Exactly. No. Does that mean that you're changing your mind? Because you said jelly and now you're talking about chocolate sauce.
I'll stick with jelly. But I did think, as I was saying, there is a risk that I could hurt myself more because it could dissolve a lot quicker than chocolate sauce.
Yeah, I don't think I don't like the way jelly gets. I don't think I like that on my skin. I think chocolate sauce is like smooth, silky.
Chocolate would be harder to clean off.
That's what I'm thinking.
True.
And if it's exactly in your hair, it's going to be like
everywhere. Whereas jelly's firmer, and then as you say, then it's watery. Whereas chocolate sauce is going to be sticky.
I think
jelly could be sticky as well.
Sugar in there.
Yeah, the consistency.
Especially if you're like squidge it, it's going to be squidge on the squidge.
But I feel like I could deal with that rather than
I feel like it'd be fun.
Consistency.
I feel
want to do this.
It's something that we should do as aunties.
I actually want to do this.
And when we open our OnlyFans. When we open our OnlyFans. Auntie Big Jelly.
You guys first. You go first.
What we'll do is open up to the question. What do you want to see the aunties wrestle in? We know how much money we'd make.
Oh my
God. I would do that wrestling in beans. Like I've always wanted to get in a bathtub of beans before. I don't know why. I feel like the consistency.
That's just disgusting.
That's gross, man.
It's the squidging and the smell going into all of your orifices.
No, not
imagine you scrubbing that off, like it will stain your skin.
That's what I'm saying.
Orange.
You can pay 5,000 more for me to scrub it off me as well. I think I could make a lot of money with this beans idea.
I think you can make a money of doing aunties in sauces. I think it's a freaking great idea.
Like in salad cream. Okay.
No.
Guys, let us know if you want to see Auntie Nana and Auntie AK different sauces, and we'll set it up.
Bro,
there ain't no pimping out here. We're all in it together.
No, I'm not doing it. I've said from the off. I'm not involved.
You got ideas.
We can be like superheroes. You can be like superheroes. You know when you put just the mask on and nobody knows who you are.
But they're paying to see you.
No, but they're paying to see bodies writhing in the sauce.
No, then why can't I pay someone to do it and get the money?
No, Auntie Farah, it defeats the purpose of our 100th episode.
It defeats your purpose. Doesn't defeat mine. Next question. Okay. Would you rather have someone FaceTime sext you, or just traditional text sext?
Yeah.
What would you rather?
Watching Aunties.
Oh, texting. Oh, okay. Sexting.
Sexting. So your traditional sexting, or would you like the FaceTime? What would you rather do?
The video one.
What's happening? Is it just
because it's more visual, and I need to see visuals. It's quite easy, to be honest.
what type of sexting? Because is it?
I'm not getting involved in your business. Sexting, isn't it?
Don't you roll your eyes, you and Auntie Nana? I just want to know
What type of sex?
That's what I'm saying.
because it makes sense. Because one's what, like if you're just talking, then it's
But you could be talking on text and still having how does that feel? Put your hands down your pants type of talk. Because you could still be having that without the visual. So I'm just asking you, which one would you prefer?
Yeah, do you like the visuals or do you want visuals?
It's probably easier to sext because it's harder to read, to see for someone else to see it. Whereas I think, especially if there's like sounds, do you know what I mean? Like I feel like sexting is kind of old school, and the other version is basically what Snapchat was made for.
Basically, that is the truth.
Yeah,
I can get you into trouble, and there's more evidence.
exactly. The other one disappears when you put the
I
phone
like
on.
it's risky.
I think texting,
Super risky.
the texting version, I think I'm an advocate for that than the visuals.
I'm so confused. I think depending on the situation.
That's not an answer.
I don't know which I prefer because both make sense at different times.
Would you rather? That's what you got to do.
What makes sense at what time? Let's try and get there.
Let's say it's the best time. So what makes sense for you?
Sexting, I don't know. Visuals, I get. No, it's sexting. Because then actually sexting because then I can just stay in my pajamas and pretend.
What?
I've so done that before.
No,
Exactly.
What
are you wearing? What are you wearing? Ooh,
Nothing.
In
my pajamas.
Yeah.
Basically, that is exactly what it is. That is exactly what I'm after. It's just that you can just lie. You can be more imaginary than if the visuals are there. You have to actually like. Yeah, I'm not really into that. I prefer to just I prefer to
The thing is, visual would be great because it's great, but I'm just saying the effort. It depends. That's why I said it depends. If I'm all ready to go, then I'll do visual. Then also, do you trust your partner not to film and?
I don't trust that.
That's part of the thrill. I think you have to get over that.
You have to know who you're doing shit with as well, I suppose, isn't it? You really do. You really do have to trust.
But folks, don't send videos if you're not prepared.
No, don't send videos to anyone.
Just as pictures shared, to be honest.
Or if you're going to send it, do that thing where it deletes.
What, like Snapchat?
No, like on WhatsApp now, they've got that thing that when you send it, it can delete. You can set a timer on it so it deletes.
Yeah, that's Snapchat.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't know that WhatsApp had that.
Yeah.
All right, next one.
Okay, next one, final one. Final one is okay. Would you rather have sex in the backseat of a car or at the beach? On the beach, should I say?
Definitely backseat of a car. I think on the beach is just too much sand, man. I'm not in. What are you talking about? Things getting into orifices. I'm not. That sand is salt. It's not. It doesn't need to be in certain places. So thank you.
Oh, I think I've actually never had sex on a beach, so I would go for the beach. And there's been plenty of cars, so that's not thrilling anymore. I'll try a beach. It doesn't have to be a sandy beach. We could find a rock or bushel that's on a beach somewhere.
And
It's really hard though.
In the moment, I'm feeling it'll be fine.
We could try and do some stuff next to a rock. It doesn't have to, the sand is kind of freaking me out, so I'm not really on the sand, but I can find a rock or a bush.
A rock pool.
Or a bushel.
Yeah.
A bushel would through me, but I'm saying we could definitely get a beach
What
bed.
beach? Are you thinking about the UK or?
I'm blatantly thinking of Canberra Sands.
Some
Oh, but Canberra Sands is nice though.
It's pretty there.
Canberra Sands is really nice.
Like the sprucey grasses, but yeah, I was thinking of Canberra.
But those grass bushes that you're talking about ain't
dry and stiff. Yeah, they're gonna.
That shit's nothing to play with.
But prickly can be fun as well. Like I think it could all could all add to the excitement.
That your bum's getting juked while you're getting juked.
So you two are saying car, and Auntie Nana, you're saying beach, right?
No, I'm saying beach too. I haven't done it.
I'm saying beach too.
You haven't done it on a beach, and I think there's ways to avoid getting sandy because I'm not going to roll in the sand, and that's long. But I think if on a beach bed or like on a elevated place, where just somewhere can do it, can work.
So I think if I'm on I see when I think beach, I don't think Canberra Sands. I think like foreign,
tropical.
I think like Caribbean or somewhere. But the problem with beach is sandfly. When you're on the beach, sandflies. Do you not have sandflies?
I don't think I've ever noticed sandflies.
No.
Jesus. So when it gets quite late at night and you're by the beach, the sandflies come out. And literally, when they bite you, this might be a Caribbean thing, I don't know. But when they bite you,
it's like they're mosquitoes.
No, not mosquitoes. They're sandflies. So mosquitoes will bite you in one place and then move on somewhere else. Sandflies will bite you like they're almost like the piranhas of insects. When they bite you all in one place, but there's like hundreds of bites. So if you're on the beach late at night and you've just got like a little piece of clothing on, the way I can show you my right leg, the way that my right leg has got sandfly bites on it, and that's just from me being on the beach for a barbecue. I think that if I'm on the beach getting down and dirty, those sandflies are going to be everywhere. So
early morning or daytime in a corner.
Daytime.
Yeah.
There's still sandflies out. I'm just not on it. And then in the daytime, where am I going to be on a rock somewhere or a tree somewhere in the daytime on a beach? Realistically, no, you're talking about in a bush. I don't want to do it in a bush.
A bushel.
A bushel. I don't want to do it in a bushel. And I also don't want to do it on the beach because if I do it on the beach, the actual beach, then you've got sand. So
the car then.
So a car.
Yeah, but I want to step it up. I want a posh car.
Yeah.
Or the bed of a truck. The bed of a truck.
What?
What, like
a pickup truck?
That's what I was thinking.
Okay.
Well, where they've got the little beds at the top above the.
No, the back bed of the back bed of the truck is the bed of the truck.
Oh, that.
Yeah.
Hang on, what type are you talking about? Like a proper truck?
No, the truck like when Wrestle Soul Simone drove us in New Orleans.
Oh, the normal, a proper truck.
Yeah, the back of the truck, the bed of the truck.
Oh, okay. So you want a hillbilly? Okay.
I mean, it is what it is. It's what it is. And amongst the tarpaulin, the stuff in the back. All right. Okay. Thank you, Auntie Farah. So now it's time for a very special 100th episode, Women's International Day. Welcome to the family, Women Sabrasha. So we're all going to bring someone to the family today. My welcome to the family, women's special, is all the women and ladies in the Bel Air reboot. I'm so freaking enjoying this series. I think it's a brilliant adaptation. I just can't sing its praises anymore. It's just so much fun. And so I want to bring to the family Cassandra Freeman, who plays Vivian Banks, Coco Jones, who plays Hilary Banks, Akira Akbar, who plays Ashley Banks, and Simone Joy Jones, who plays Lisa, who will eventually be, no spoilers, obviously, Will's love, but she's in an entanglement slightly right now. But just the women of the Bel Air reboot are just so beautiful, so fantastic. They're so perfectly reimagined, and it's just so much fun. Just love it. Love them. Welcome. And there's in amongst there's aunties and nieces and cousins. They're all of various ages and stuff. So they're just welcoming all to the family. Auntie Nan. Oh, I did that the wrong way around. It should be Auntie Farah. Who are you welcoming to the family?
Firstly, I think that's cheating because you've just welcomed like 4 people.
Big bear.
Oh,
It's more than that. I swear there's
I mean, I didn't stop you guys.
You're meant to have one. That's what you said. The assignment was one per person.
Formula One.
Welcome to the family, women special. I just said,
and you just like,
this is a special.
I'm just thinking about when we do our socials. How's that going to work?
Bro, listen.
Picture of one of them
Group
together.
picture. Exactly.
Yeah, no, that's too squashed up. They should,
Hey. Who has not thought of theirs?
I have thought of mine actually. I'd like to welcome Zendaya to the family.
Oh, that's mine.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know.
Say again.
I said I didn't know that was yours.
Oh no, that's fine. Go.
Okay.
Why are you welcoming her?
I'm welcoming her because, firstly, I just love the path her career has taken, and that she's a boss bitch, and that her fashion is just to die for. And I also would like to, the fact that she's really out there for women, representing women her age, and she always seems very respectful. But also because of her performance in this season's Euphoria. That girl, stroke woman, stroke niece, deserves to have all the awards ever. All of them. Because her portrayal of Rue is giving me real, did you actually take drugs vibes? Like, It's so good. It's so good. Like, there's moments I want to kill her. There's moments I want to hug her. I just think she's brilliant. She's a brilliant, brilliant actress. Every time I see her and stuff, I'm just like, this girl, I just love her. Yeah, that's why.
Welcome.
I will add to that in terms of I think her performance gives you all the emotions. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just she's kind of just so talented, and she's so young, and also just the way that people, her peers speak about her. So not just her boyfriend, like even like people like Storm Reed and all her co-actors, they've always got honorable, genuine things to say about her. Do you know what I mean? That she's a pillar of support and everything like that. And I just think that for so long Hollywood has not been a very fair place for Black women. Do you know what I mean? And to see these young people building a network and uplifting each other and empowering each other as they go through their careers, it's just a beautiful thing. So yeah, that's why I would like to also welcome her to the family.
I think she should get 2 pictures.
Yes.
And Auntie Nana, who are you welcoming?
Okay, I am welcoming Dr. Yaba Blay, who is a scholar and activist and a public speaker. And she also has a book out called One Drop. And it's really a different take on colorism, but I just love her energy and how she speaks about being Black and not all skin folk are kinfolk. Her Instagram page is just a mountain of knowledge as well. She has the best Instagram page. So yes, I welcome Dr. Yaba Blay.
Welcoming all these wonderful, powerful, phenomenal women to the family. Okay, this is your Aunties Could Never, very special 100th episode, and it's International Women's Day. So what we're going to do is take a look back at some of our top listened shows and some of the news stories. So we're going to do a very special What Have You Heard, or kind of reflective, if you will. And just reminding you guys, if you're listening on your usual listening platforms, don't forget to leave a review or or comment, positive comments to support us and take us to the upper echelons of rich auntiedom. Make sure. And by the way, for those of you who are used to commenting along with us, this is a pre-record. So you might be trying to answer and we're not answering you. Ask us questions. We're not replying. This is a pre-record. It's a special pre-recorded episode. And that's that. So don't forget to please comment and subscribe and leave your comments, especially on Apple and Spotify. Okay, so we're going into What Have You Heard, is where we take news stories that we've heard this time over our past 100 shows. So first up for me is our first ever episode 1, titled Quarantined But Still. That went out on the 26th of the 3rd, 2020. 2020, we were in lockdown. We were in lockdown. Can you imagine? It's the first time we all got together and decided that the aunties must speak. We had lots of stuff going on. One of the stories that we had, it was from Auntie Nana. And it was about, we were talking about coronavirus, of course, because that's where we were in the midst of depth of the madness. But Auntie Nana had a story about 2 suns that apparently appeared in the sky. And we didn't know if it was true, but she also said that because of coronavirus, it was covered up.
Hold on. I think we knew that it wasn't true.
So what I wanted to know is, upon reflection, do we really think that coronavirus, along with the 2 suns, do you think coronavirus overall, from the day that we heard about it till now, has been a cover up for something more sinister? We missed something that else has gone on since corona landed in our laps and our chests and our hearts. Auntie Nana, seeing as you led with the conspiracy theory.
I think we can all probably attest to, in the 2 years, this saga has been full of various different levels of conspiracy theories coming into fruition and being true. Like that, so not just the sun thing, okay, that was, a false video, or who knows, I don't know, I still don't know what that was about, but there was lots of theories that came out in 2020, and actually in the length of time it has proved that there was going to be lots of different types of segregations that were going to take place. We've seen that there has been money that has been wasted, and lots of people said that this was a big wealth transfer. So in the conspiracy theory space, I think that a lot of the theories were true and they weren't just conspiracy theories.
I have to agree. Auntie Farah?
Yeah, I think we've got another episode that we talk about later on, that most definitely a lot of, I'm rambling. 2 suns, load of bullshit, because like I said at the time, Auntie Nana, if you looked up in the sky, did you see 2 suns? The sun is the sun, isn't it? When you look up to the sky, it's what you're seeing, isn't it? You didn't see 2 suns. So that is bullshit. However, there's definitely been a lot of things that everyone discussed, saying this is going to happen, you're not going to be able to travel, this, that, and the other. All those things have happened. But equally, I think a lot of things people know are nonsense too. So, I think it's been 50-50 with conspiracy theories. And actually, maybe that's not a high enough number, because, what I will say is it's definitely been a way for a lot of people to get rich. I actually wish that I had invested in sanitizers, in face masks, and in PPE. I really wish that I'd invested in that stuff, because there are definitely some rich people out there. Most of them the politicians who just had a pay rise. But yeah.
Auntie Sade.
No, I don't agree. I think that conspiracy theories, what it taught me was that they're used as a tool to encourage fear within people and encourage like mistrust of information. There's like definitely 100%, 1,000% spike in like fake news. It shows me the ways that social media can be manipulated and bent to the will of the person that's got the power, do you know what I mean, to spread misinformation. I remember at the beginning, not just these 2 suns, that people thought that the 5G, people were trying to knock down 5G posts and stuff, and said that it had something to do with coronavirus. Nothing to do with coronavirus. Like, do you know what I mean? I just think there were just so many things that were like disproved and stuff. And I think there is a space to discuss and wonder and to use your imagination for sure. But I just don't know. I just don't believe in them at all.
When you said that, it made me think of Wizard of Oz. Just in your imagination.
But I mean, that's the thing. It's just like, if like you can get into like a cycle, and the algorithm learns your likes and your preferences, and you can just go into this rabbit hole of like, do you know what I mean? Of just information that's just not true.
But I think some of that's from the news as well, which doesn't help things. There's a lot of information on, things on platforms that you would say should be telling you the truth.
Yeah,
and I think that information is false.
I do think that we've got better at spotting that, and also kind of like maybe pausing and considering, okay, what is the source of this information that's being told? Who else has reported it? Like, do you know what I mean? And those kind of things. It's interesting. I think I'm curious about it, but I just don't. Do you know what I mean? I can entertain an idea without actually believing it.
Yeah, I think it definitely opened our minds to the fact that the powers that be can do the most to confuse us and cloud our judgment and make us not know which way is up in order for them to proceed as they want to. I don't discount. I think there have been quite a few, predictions, things that are being chipped and COVID, like travel passport. Those things were considered conspiracy theories, and a lot of those things have come to fruition. So I think there's
chips. No, you need to clarify. No one's been.
Have we not got chipping coming along? Like, weren't they talking about chipping?
Because that chip thing is that when you get the injection, that you're also going to be chipped. That has not happened.
Well, you don't know what's in the injection.
There's what we know as a chip, and then there's biological warfare.
Okay, but it's true. Like the thing is, Auntie Sade, the thing is, there are a lot of things that people say are conspiracy theories, and people say, "Oh, that's not true. That will never happen." And 10 years down the line, you find out that they actually were doing that to people. So whilst I do agree with you, a lot of the stuff that came out, that you got on WhatsApp via your auntie, like, don't take it, it makes your dick's gonna drop off, like that type of shit. Okay, yeah, that's nonsense. Totally agree with that. But at the same time, the government, we have to admit, when Boris stands in front of you and says, "Go out, don't go out, eat, don't eat, play, don't play," and then it doesn't help. Yeah. So it does lead to you thinking, well, what's to believe, what's true, what's false, when they're not following it themselves. So you know what I mean? It's just
yeah.
We know they're up to nonsense most of the time, these politicians.
Yeah, I do think I'm not unaware of like the kind of political gain and the capital gains that have been made, for sure. Do you know what I mean? But I don't believe people have been chipped with the injection at all. I just don't think that's a thing. Seriously, if they wanted to track us, they could track us through our phones. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, seriously.
I agree with you.
Keeps the chip running.
I agree with you. I don't think they've chipped people with this vaccine, but I do think where the thought process was going in the chipping and actually like tracking people, I think there's definitely been an elevation in compliance. So it's more knowing actually how many people are going to comply with something that we tell them to do. And that can be tracked. And it's like, well, okay, so there was a few protests, but the majority of the world complied. I think that can be monetized, and that's what we're going to see. So maybe there's not going to be the physical, but there's so much data that got transferred in 2 years that we don't even know what they're going to do with that. That's the thing that I'm like, actually, the conspiracy theorists were onto something, because they've got DNA, they've got data, they've got us all talking. It's like there's been a whole spike in data information that without this taking place wouldn't have happened. So then it is like, remember they said the whole it coming from a lab was false, and now it's a bit like, oh, it could have come from a lab, it could have come from a bat. Like, there's all of these things where they've doubled, and then there was the time when as soon as you take the vaccine, it's going to go. We just need everybody to be vaccinated. Then it turns out, no, that's not actually really the truth, but that was being spread on almost every single news network when it first came out about the vaccine. That's false information.
That was being spread by the government. The government was standing up and saying to you, every platform, you had politicians across the world saying to you, you need to have both your vaccines and you will be protected. And then they came out and said, actually, you need to have your booster and then you will be protected. And then they came out and said, actually, the booster only lasts for 10 months. So then you need to have another booster in order to be protected. And now they're saying, if you've got COVID-19 and you test positive, you don't even need to isolate. It's all right. Go outside. It's fine. Crack on with your life. So things have progressed quite dramatically over the period of time. So
and definitely anyone who was a naysayer about what they were saying was considered a conspiracy theorist and anti-vaccine and stuff like that. And I definitely think there's interest. It's definitely about, they now know who are rebels and who are not, who will conform and who will not.
I think you're right.
I know I'll be in a cage.
Yeah,
like.
me too. Auntie Nana, I think you're onto something when you say that maybe, that's sometimes what happens as well, where conspiracy theorists will say it's going to be one way, like, oh, you're going to get chipped, but it isn't necessarily that happens. So I definitely think you're onto something where you say the government have got a lot more information on people now than they ever did before. Even if you haven't had the vaccine, the majority of people have had a PCR test. Yep. So your DNA is on file. There's lots of things, even if you had corona and you like just registered that you've got it, and that's just from having
all of that
flow, that's on file. There's so many things that are on file now that weren't on file before. So maybe when you're thinking of chip, it's not necessarily a chip in your arm or anything like that. It might literally just be the data about you in a different way than it would be if they just had your phone or your normal,
I hear that, but I think that there is, like, it's always open to interpretation, and it always kind of like, that always gives space for it to be what they're saying is right. So it might not be this specific thing, but it could be something. But that's for everything, though. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's the way I see it. Like, I just thought that when people are saying, when you say this injection, you're going to be chipped by having this injection, that is encouraging fear. It's encouraging mistrust and fear. That's what that does. And if they're saying, if you're, it's a very different message to saying, they're collecting more information on you. Do you know what I mean? That's a very
absolutely
message. So I just think that it can be a bit.
But equally, again, whilst I totally agree with you, equally I will say, if the message is have this injection and you will not get COVID, which was at first. It kind of was though, or if the message is okay, let's take that off the table. If the message is have this injection and that's all you need, and then that changes to actually that isn't all you need because there's a new variant, so you're going to need another one. I think the people standing by can also feel a little bit. I think about the information that they're being given by the professionals, so to speak.
I think that there wasn't room to even have that conversation that this is a possibility, because people just wanted results and answers straight away, as the public usually does. Do you know what I mean? So I just think it's very, very difficult. But I'm not going to defend the government. I'm not trying to do that. But so I hear what you're saying.
Hi, Auntie Farah, what did you hear from back in the day?
Okay, so funnily enough, it's kind of similar to what we're actually talking about. So this is from episode 4, and the title of the episode was called He's Got to Go. But really, Auntie Nana, up again, compared Lee Ryan from Blue saying that the government are chipping us through corona. This can be a very short conversation because, as I said, it's funny that this is the next one. But he was on TV and fans were left baffled because he stated that the devil controls the world governments and that we all will be forcibly chipped with microchips. And that was coming off of like him talking about people having to get the vaccine. He also talked about 5G mobile networks. This could be very quick because I think we've covered it. But I think the main thing was we were saying at the time, like, should celebrities keep their theories to themselves? What do they owe it to the public to actually provide them with information? Should the public take everything they say with a pinch of salt unless they're a fucking, professional? Or should they just keep their mouth shut?
I think what people need to do, because especially with celebrities who really jumped on the bandwagon, and we've seen it over the past couple of years, especially with lockdown and corona, and putting their opinions out there. When it comes to stuff like this, I feel like They just need to keep their self to themselves. I know it's very difficult, but nobody knows the full answer. And I don't know. And I suppose you can't, it's so like idealistic for me to remove your rights, do what you want. But at this point, when it comes to things like this, keep stum, because, you know, now you've got celebrities talking about the war and taking sides. But it's just that I think in sensitive times like that, leave it to, even though we can't even trust our governments, I do think people need to reserve and be a bit more cautious with the platforms that they have, especially as celebrities, because they've tapped. I mean, during lockdown, and I mean during the COVID, during lockdown, there were celebrities being either, you know, coincided to go and encourage people to get the vaccine, or do videos and campaigns about the vaccine, or they were talking out against the vaccine, and everyone's getting into trouble and then getting criticized. So I just think, as a celebrity, when it comes to matters of great national interest, ideally keep stum, or minimize your theorizing. I don't know. I feel like it's removing freedom of speech, but I just think it's a dangerous space to be in, where you get on a soapbox for people that you just know are not trustworthy and you just don't know the facts. Auntie Sade.
See, I am coincidentally, or maybe conflictedly, all about freedom of speech, though. Do you know what I mean? Like, well, actually, no, not completely. Some people.
Don't make me quote you. What is it that you like to say? Problem with a black man with a platform.
I think if you've got violations, then no, you shouldn't. But I think that and what was good during this time is that it was being taken more seriously, that people with platforms, that actually you can get a strike against you, or you could use your platform if you just spout nonsense without being backing. However, I do think that, you know, everyone has a right to express their opinion. You know, obviously I prefer opinions that are like my own, just like anybody else. It's just a human natural thing. But I would like celebrities to be more transparent in terms of, like, are you getting paid to put this post on? Are you, do you know what I mean? What is your political alliance like? Do you know what I mean? Like, I want to know those things, like, in a more transparent way before I kind of take, you know what I mean, what they're saying on. Like, I will say, like, it depends on the person, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? So that depends on your background, who you're influenced by, all that kind of stuff. Like, it took India Irie to make me notice, or to pay attention to the conversation about Spotify. Do you know what I mean? Anybody else, I wouldn't give a shit. But because I value her, that's why I valued what was, you know, I looked into what was being said. So for other people, it might take Lee from Blue. It might take that. But I do wish that some people, we can't always have, I mean, he's a terrible example, but I just think you can't always choose the messenger, right? Do you know what I mean? Like, and I do believe that. I just wish, though, if people are proven to be spouting nonsense and do you know what I mean, or inciting racial hatred, or do you know what I mean, prejudices and all those kind of things, that they should have strikes against them, and they should not be allowed to, or they should be at least suspended from platforms. Do you know what I mean? It should be made much more difficult for them to continue to spew nonsense, and it should be taken very seriously. And also, people should have what do you call it? Should lose people who what is it called? Who don't have their profile attached to who don't have their identity attached to their profile. I think there should be more easier ways to get rid of those profiles. Does that make sense? That was a very long way. But yeah,
it does. Auntie Nana.
Fleur. Okay, I did totally am for freedom of speech. I don't think any celebrity should curtail what they're saying. And I also don't agree with, like, banning from platforms either, even if it's like
Donald Trump,
racist, whatever. Yeah, I don't. I'm because it's fine when the person is contradictory to what you believe, until it's you that's the contradictory thought pattern. And so I don't agree that this should be wholesale. I don't subscribe to cancelling anybody. I think it should be the dialogue should happen. You talk to them if you want to, or they can talk in their echo chamber if they want to. But I don't think anybody should be banned from places wholesale. I don't agree with that. I don't see any benefit to it, because they'll go somewhere else and they're still going to talk, or somebody else is going to take up that space as well. So I don't really agree with cancelling people. And what Lee wants to say is what Lee wants to say. Give it the fullness of time. You never know what could come out in the wash later on. I still cannot remember how I got Kanye to Jesus.
Yeah, I don't know
can
how you
believe
did
that.
that.
I probably did, and there's ways, but in his new incarnation, I can't see how I could have done that. But Kanye goes through very different phases. He's a human, so he evolves and changes and does different things. Now Kanye having a chat on black issues in a black forum, he needs to shut up and sit down somewhere. But that's, I'd still think he should talk, but I'm not going to listen to Kanye talking to black people about black issues. Like, he's not walking the talk, so I'm not going to listen to him. But if people want to listen to him, fair dues, listen to him. Like, to me, it's akin to listening to Shaka Bars. Sometimes I think he chat shit as well. But each to their own. We've all got a brain for a reason. Just use your brain wisely.
Auntie Farah.
I think I'm with Auntie Sade in the sense of I it doesn't sit well with me when people are forced to be quiet because they've got different opinions, unless it is a case of them inciting violence or racial or hatred against someone because of their diverse nature. Let's put it that way, because there's so many things you could talk about, isn't it? But because unlike Auntie Nana, I think Donald Trump needed to be banned. He incited a riot. So he told people to come. So I think in those respects, people should be held accountable for their actions. But it's difficult, because when it's whether or not you believe what the celebrity is saying, isn't it? Because if you believe what the celebrity is saying, then you're all for it. And you're like, yeah, talk the talk. But if you don't, and you don't believe in that celebrity or what they're saying or in them as a person, then you're just going to be like, that person needs to shut up. Why are they talking most of the time? So I think it is what you want to hear, if you want to hear it. If you don't, what did Jay-Z say? If you don't want to hear me, switch off, press fast forward. There's things like that. You don't have to pay attention to what everyone's saying. You don't. And you do have to take things with a pinch of salt. But yeah.
I think also,
go on.
I was just going to say, I think that, and what has definitely come out of this period of time is just that it's not, that social media is just not natural. Do you know what I mean? So whereas normally if you're talking to someone one-on-one and they're not, you're having a conversation, you don't like what they're saying, you can end the conversation. But social media, the way it's set up and the algorithms is that you still keep on getting the posts related to that thing, do you know what I mean? So slowly over time, it can inform your opinions. Do you know what I mean? And it's just or it can affect you negatively. And that's I think probably been one of the biggest, not necessarily a big revelation, but just more shared. That information has been more shared with people, that actually, okay, yeah, you need to start, if you're getting really depressing posts, so you need to start liking some more happy stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To change your feed, and have given people the tools to be able to do that. I think that's definitely been a benefit.
Okie dokie. Auntie Nana, what have you heard from back in the day?
All right, so my one that I want to focus on is from episode 20. All right, so it's episode 28, which we recorded on the 12th of September 2020, called Lani Good versus Tion Wayne. And it is Diversity's Black Lives Matter dance on Britain's Got Talent and the outrage that followed on from that. Question is, Diversity's dance, did it have a lasting effect on Black Lives Mattering in the UK? Or should it have? Did it do anything?
And just to correct you, it was Some Bad Boy Information is the title of it, but we did talk about Lonnie until when. But Auntie Sade, did Diversity's dance have a lasting effect on Black Lives Matter in the UK?
Absolutely not. Not in our circles, mate. Absolutely not. I don't. I think the what it probably did for disgruntled viewers in the UK British public was just incite them to make complaints. That's it. And so maybe it got more into the universe, do you know what I mean, for them to understand what Black Lives Matter means and stuff, or why they're against it. But no, it didn't. It has not helped race relations. No, absolutely not.
Auntie Farah.
Yeah, absolutely not. And I also think what it did is remind a lot of in Middle England, let's say, that diversity are not white. Oh God, they're black. They are like those black people. Look at them talking about race. Just get on the stage and dance. So, yeah, I don't think it had a lasting effect at all. What I did appreciate was the fact that the production team and the broadcaster didn't take back their talk. They said they were proud of it and they followed through. And then the next couple of weeks, Alicia Dixon was on there doing her thing and stepping up and showing out how she felt she wanted to. So I did appreciate that, because whilst it didn't change the way that people necessarily operated, it did put it on national television, and I appreciated that just for that in itself. But yeah,
I think it also, along with what you said, Auntie Farah, it also let diversity if ever they had any they'd forgotten or didn't realize, or any doubts that they had a carte blanche in this industry because of the way that they were so well loved and household names. As always, it's a reminder that no matter who you are, where you are, that even if it happens only once in your life, you'll get a swift, sharp reminder about your position in this place, especially when you're in a place that's not your own, and when they don't see it for you 100%. So I definitely think on that aspect, for anyone that is in diversity that didn't have that, who wasn't sure or didn't have the same existence as some of the rest of us, it was a little sharp reminder. Not a nice one, but it is a reminder. And hopefully it sparked more honest conversations among those who had avoided those conversations, if ever. And I don't know who had and hadn't, but just as a wake-up call. Definitely didn't change that. And maybe it reached some family in Middle England that, that were like, oh, now I get it. Maybe it helped.
Yeah.
What it does speak to again is that whole thing about celebrityism, and then the minute you do something and you become the poster child of something, then that means you go on to now become an expert. And then Ashley Banjo did a show about diversity, and Jim Davison, an old school,
just about to say that, yeah,
racist presenter. We had racist comedy. I don't think I can call him a racist, so I have to say allegedly. But back in the day when I grew up in the 80s, Jim Davison was very renowned for having racist content.
He liked to call people chalky and shit,
and all that type of stuff. And he actually had an explanation for calling people chalky.
And he actually didn't walk out.
Yeah. So basically, when he did the conversation with Ashley, and actually challenged him, because he criticized the diversity thing. So, what the argument was, don't bring politics to a family show, as they do every single time. They do it with America and sports. They do it with everything, anything to do with a primetime show. They feel that politics shouldn't be involved. So that's one of the biggest complaints about the diversity Black Lives Matter dance. And Jim Davison was on the Loud Voices as well. So Ashley invited him onto his special show about exploring racism, and essentially Ashley wasn't equipped. Jim Davison was reactionary, and he walked off, and then it just became about Jim Davison walking off Ashley Banjo's show. And then Jim Davison has also got a platform, and he took to the platform with his one safe Black friend. I can't remember the guy's name, but I bun him forever. He came on the show to validate Jim Davison, say, you're not, his version of, you had a bit of risky jokes, but you're not a racist. I know you. You're a good bro. You're a good. So he got a Black naysayer to come and appease him and make him sound like, an advocate for races, for multiculturalness. So and this is where where celebrities, again, freedom of speech, do what you like, but please try and think a little extra level of whether you're equipped to do certain things, because Black Lives Matter isn't a joke, isn't a fad. And for those of us who actually live that experience, all of us who've lived that experience and what it was born out of. It's not to be trivialized with now a quick ITV or channel. I can't remember which channel it was for.
They took it as, I swear, Diversity took it for Footloose, man.
Yeah,
They was gonna change the small towns in
yeah,
England.
yeah.
Like, what the hell?
Oh my God, she
Literally.
said Footloose.
It's true. That's the
And
perfect.
they ain't no Kevin Bacon.
Doing the Auntie Nana.
I think they it wasn't anything major shifting, but what they did was put their necks on the line and get backlash and survive. And I think that actually sends a ripple out to everybody else who keeps stum when anything happens because they're thinking about their jobs and if they're going to survive. And it moved things like an inch forward where people are going to talk a little bit more. It's not lost on me that Charlene White now really seems to stand firm in her blackness when she's talking about black issues. Even with her panelists, it's like she'll go toe to toe. I think these are times that 2020 kind of shaped, that more black people are going to be like, we're going to talk about it. If you're uncomfortable, you're uncomfortable. The resources have been shown, they've been shared, you can do the work. I think there's more conviction in things can go wrong and I can get backlash and people are going to come for me and they're going to say I'm playing the race card and all of that, but I'm not going to lose my job. I think that shifted a little bit in that direction, but nothing major has changed because nothing major is going to change until the system is eradicated. So until that time comes along, all we can hope for is the little dance movements, the little talks that take place on shows on ITV, and maybe in our lifetime we'll see something take place, but nothing crazy. Yeah, a little movement will take place, a little one. But well done to them. Although,
well done, Diversity.
I'm still like, there's still a question. There's still a deeper discussion to be had in regards to these guys being the poster child for Black lives with white wives and mixed households. Would it have gone as smoothly as it did for the Banjos if they were Black men?
If it was flawless, for example.
If it was Marlon doing that and his group, because they are very Black, would it have gone down the same road? I think there's still there's an acceptability, a palatability in their colouring that allows this kind of talk to take place because they have dual heritage.
Yeah. And also, and I think definitely that speaks to like I said, the awakening. That, in jokes aside, if anything, hopefully there was some sort of awakening for any of those who didn't understand the levels because of their privilege. And that's not even their fault. That's the society that they live in and have grown up in, an environment they've grown up in. Like if they had any kind of what's her name from Little Mix, any type of existence like that, where she wasn't brought up to understand her dynamics.
No, they talk about it. I've seen a documentary with them on it, and they talk about their upbringing and their parents saying stuff to them. They do talk about it, but yeah, certainly they've probably not experienced the same level of racism as some other people. I would definitely say that. Sure. However, I do, regardless of the fact that me not thinking it's changed the world, I kind of do have to rate them for doing it in the first place. I definitely do, because let's be honest, none of us in here would expect Diversity to go on to Britain's Got Talent or whatever show it was. I can't remember what it was. And to do this.
No, I would.
I would. Yeah.
I wouldn't. Yeah. Look at their previous performances. None of their performances previously have been in any way, shape, or form, and they've never actually spoken about anything political to do with Black, the problems that Black people go through. That I've never heard them speak about it. Never, ever.
No, but it's not that. It's more kind of like looking at it from maybe a producer standpoint and just like, who's the obvious choice? They're the obvious choice.
The producers. Okay, so what I can say is this: the producers are not responsible for asking Diversity to develop anything like that. That came from Diversity, and I can say that hand on chest. That's not the producer wouldn't have gone to Diversity and said, "FY, could you
they okay things." Do you know what I mean? So
they would have looked at their performance and they would have okayed it to happen. What they wouldn't have done is seen the performance prior to Diversity coming into the studio and rehearsing. They wouldn't have seen it.
what I was going to say, the mood at the time would make sense for them to do it. So as much as I don't think I won't take away. I think I feel some sort of commending or bravery. I'm not sure. However, because I think there was a mood and a moment where anyone in that space would felt either compelled, or I felt like they had to, so would do. I don't know them. There's it's so hard when you've got people in the public eye, because no matter what, until you know that actually inside their hearts and minds, you don't know what their motivation is. It could be, and I don't know anybody in diversity, and it's regardless of anyone who did even the most political Black Pantherist type person who did anything in that moment. At their core, we don't know everyone's motivation, whether it's for likes, whether it's for attention, whether it's to be part of the conversation, to propel their propel.
But that's by the by, because they could have lost their position.
Sorry?
They could have. There's a lot in stake when you do anything front house with race. You know you can get sacked. You know you can lose your place. That's real.
When they've taken them to court or something, I just think it's just really. I think it's.
Who would they have taken to court though?
I think it's hard to understand if they're literally being performative or not. But literally, it's just like really and truly, this dance is not. It's not the tool.
No. I
will win over hearts of minds.
Listen, as I said, I totally agree with you, and I do not think that the dance changed the world. I totally agree with you. What I did say is I would not have expected.
I don't think they're risking anything. I just don't. I don't. Well, maybe I don't see it that way. Like, who am I to say? To be honest, but I just don't. I don't look at them and think, "Oh, you're so brave." Oh my God.
No. I didn't say, "Oh, you're so brave." I actually rate them because I wouldn't really have expected them to do this because they don't address. I've never seen them talk about any Black issues in the whole however many years that they've been.
You're seeing it more like this was an opportunity.
Historical. That's basically it. How can I get involved in this moment?
I get you.
Yeah, that's how I see it.
Obvious to do that. To be honest, what can we bring to the table? Let's do a dance.
But they are dancers.
I know.
I totally get what you're saying. I put them all in a much safer box than that. Than actually putting their head above the parapet to even be like, we are going to be relevant in this moment. But I wouldn't put that past anybody. I also wouldn't put that past them to be in a meeting with each other and being like, this is really relevant at this moment, and we kind of feel a little bit away, and we are like the kind of Black people in the room, or they probably call themselves mixed, whatever. We should do a dance on this show. That could also go that way.
I can see that happening. Yeah.
A lot of presenters held back and were watching who's talking here, who's lost their job. There was a lot of people holding back from putting themselves forward. So I am like, in that regards, I would have put diversity in the we're going to sit back mode than other people. But it worked for them. So, it's okay. They didn't change anything. But in them stepping forward, I have a cautionary tale that not every Black person needs to put yourselves on the chopping block because you're not the same as these guys.
Yeah.
That's more of what it is. That they moved it a little bit forward, but, still, if you need ITV to be paying your bills, don't step too far forward.
Yeah, I think I'm just. I think everything that everyone's saying is exactly how I feel. I think definitely they had never ever put themselves on the line for politics, but I also wasn't surprised that they did it. I felt like it was par for the course. I felt like it was such an obvious move. You were the only Black representational street dance group in the UK. You had to, you were pretty much compelled to. So it wasn't a surprise.
Literally a visual example of what the UK is pretending to be.
It wasn't the greatest dance, was it? But I mean, they tried.
They tried.
It, and it's done.
They had a fist in the air.
You know what? But do you know why? Why do we not talk about Lani though? Because she's really come well, hasn't she? Since that episode. since that episode. She's got her money back. She's released tracks. Like, she's done.
I mean, the title was some bad boy information. We can segue before we go to Auntie to your next story. Lani Good versus Tion Wayne. He wants to remix this or rehash what happened.
God, I can't remember play by play, but basically Lani was at some point involved in some sort of way, allegedly, with Tion Wayne. Tion Wayne allegedly may have relieved her of some money in some sort of way, and she started a campaign to get her money back. A very public.
I'm sitting on a bad boy piece of information.
Love that still. I love it.
What was it?
And
It took her a year and a half, isn't it? It's a year and a half.
It took a year and a half for her to get her money back. She built a bit of a following and a bit of a profile for herself. And she, she kind of like, and though she got a lot of criticism about, people telling her to like stop and, that she should, what was it? A lot of people were bringing up her age, bringing up like her mental health and all this kind of stuff. She did get her money back at the end of the day. And she, proved to, some of us that she's actually quite funny and she's actually quite talented, actually, and also very determined. And that she shouldn't let people, just because they're famous, take the piss out of you. And if they owe you something, you should get it back. And that's exactly what happened. So, yeah.
I'm sitting on a bad boy piece of information. Do you understand? A bad boy piece of fucking information. I'm sitting on a bad boy piece of information.
Well, she really wasn't.
And she really wasn't. But the thing is, what it shows, women, go for it. When men fuck you over, don't keep. Because we're raised to keep stum and stand by our man. And even when they do our shit, we don't say nothing. She was the example of, I'm gonna say shit and expose it
with her whole chest.
Honestly. Repeatedly.
Okay, Auntie Sade, what have you heard?
Okay, so my story is from episode 17, back in 27th of June 2020, and it was called #BlackPoundDay, and it was with our first ever guest, Swiss, from So Solid, formerly of So Solid, who created Black Pound Day in the midst of the pandemic. And actually, I have a very up-to-date reference because Cody Radical just released his album and he references Black Pound Day in his song Fubu. Oh. He says, should I drop the album on Black Pound Day or will they still support it just because it sounds great? And I thought, oh my God, that's just like a moment like for us, like it's Black boy joy, it's Black girl joy, it's Black London, it's Britishness. I just freaking love it. And I love that like meta reference as well, kind of thing. Only those that know will know that. Do you know what I mean? So the question that we're asking today is, are there still positive effects of Black Pound Day to date?
Auntie Nana.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it definitely had its great push effect in 2020. I still credit like that first Black Pound Day for being one of my best months that year. And that kind of carried on for a few months afterwards. But also what they've actually gone on to achieve, like having the shops and keeping the subject matter going, having the Google campaign, like really supporting Black businesses. He created a real movement. And I hope that it galvanizes more momentum. Like it doesn't need like a death to really get people focused on the Black pound and buying Black and equity that should be going to Black people as well. I hope it doesn't always take a tragedy and people more tap into their conscious like they do when they're thinking of buying organic or buying fair trade, that it just becomes a part of actually let's share wealth equally amongst everybody. And we need to compensate living African Black people now because their ancestors created what we have. So we owe them. However, whichever way you want to look at it, it's just like for everything I have, I owe a fellow Black person part of that. So you spend with Black people. I think that should just be seeped into everybody's consciousness and it shouldn't take murder or some type of tragedy for us to think about that. It should be in our in the zeitgeist. It should be what everybody does. So it's definitely still positive and it's needed.
Auntie Farah.
Nah, I don't think it's needed. Not really. No, I think it's brilliant. I would definitely credit Black Pound Day and the whole movement, and even still to this day, for putting me onto some companies that I'd never heard of. And just for advertising alone, and this is every month, or every so often you'll see them highlight Black owners, Black companies. So definitely, I'll say Black Pound Day is holds all credits to that. And it also put a lot of things to the forefront. There are other Black directories out there, and they've also benefited from Black Pound Day. It brings everyone together. They all talk about it. They all, on the socials, they all mention it together. Swiss has gone on to do lots of other interviews with people highlighting this and highlighting the reasons why. He successfully had a shop, first Black Pound Day shop in Westfield in London, and that did amazingly. So, he's working with Google, as you said, he's working with Soho House. He's doing some amazing things. So I think that's only inspiring to people who are coming up and haven't yet launched their businesses, but also giving people who already have businesses an extra push that they need. So I think it's a fantastic thing, and long may it reign.
Auntie Sade.
Yeah, no, definitely. Obviously, that one example about Cody Radical, but also I just think that. Oh, also, my team worked on the Google campaign, so I'm very, very proud of that. Yeah, I just think, like, in general, it kind of helped. It was part of the zeitgeist as well. Do you know what I mean? At the time, like, and still, I guess, part of it. It's just that it made Black-owned businesses be proud to say they're a Black-owned business.
Yes.
Like, I think before that time, maybe not so much, you're not really seeing that in the bio. Do you know what I mean? Or maybe like a lot of websites and pages are faceless. You wouldn't really see the owner. And then it kind of came to, where you're DMing a company and asking, are you actually Black-owned? Do you know what I mean? Like, it became relevant and important to know that I'm making a conscious decision before I shop with you. Do you know what I mean? To kind of keep the money in the Black community and stuff. And it just makes sense, And I know a lot of people are like, oh, why is he doing it? Do you know what I mean? And it's like, why not? Like, he had an idea, he ran with it, and it's just so beneficial. That first Black Pound Day, or the first couple of Black Pound Days, we done very well at Everyday Friday. Do you know what I mean? Like, it definitely it helped, not just with sales, but also with our marketing. Do you know what I mean? It gave people like a way to focus and stuff. And yeah, it was brilliant. And just being part of that community. And it just also, like, that tied in with like companies like Jammy as well, like, the Black-owned business marketplace. And even I think like the Killer Mike doc that he done about trying to live back, like, all at the same time. It was just like, oh, actually, this is possible. So if I'm buying like tissue, I can actually go to a Black-owned company, or water, or candles, or underwear, or hair, or whatever. Like, do you know what I mean? It's just like, you can actually replace every item in your household if you look hard enough. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, if you've got a bit of disposable income, it's much quicker and faster. But like with Black-owned companies, and that is like, ultimately, I do have that in the back of my mind. Like, that's the goal. Do you know what I mean? To like use as many Black-owned companies for everyday things as possible. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think everything that you guys said, and just it helped me, because I think that it's definitely that pulling together a simple place where all the Black things that we need are in one particular hub. Because I think we even had conversations about where to get stuff, especially in lockdown, when you couldn't go to the stores and you couldn't go anywhere, and when they just made a decision on what was considered an important essential. And a lot of Black hair shops, though they were even though they're Asian-owned hair shops, where our products were in abundance, they were locked off because they weren't considered as an important essential as maybe what you could get in Boots and stuff like that. So the fact that there's this list where it makes it easier, and it helped me, because I was always confused, like, where am I going to get this? Where am I going to get that? And I do default to what's easier, convenience, because that's the way the world's set up. So it was really, I'm very, very, very proud. And this is a very old school friend. and seeing him step into this place of leadership, which has been quite funny, in a friend way, like, oh, look at you, the homie doing big things. And yeah, it's just great to see people realizing their purpose. And I think it's great to see trajectories for people, their career trajectories, because, you know, he's, as you said, he's part of So Solid. And now he's the founder of this big Black organization. I don't know, I'm sure he never foresaw that, but it's really good example of, for the young people. I think that there's a generation of people that are growing up doing one thing and seeing how easy, not necessarily easy, but how you can step into other career paths, and it's not, you know, your future's not determined just by one thing that you do. I think that's quite interesting, and actually seeing people grow businesses and see them thrive and successful, we don't always get that in the UK. It's not always been visible to us who the Black people are who started legacy built institutions. We don't get to see that. All our institutions in the UK, usually white owned, white begun, or maybe Asian. We don't get to see how possible it is for us to become entrepreneurs. I think that's something. And with compiling this list of Black businesses as well, it's so inspiring for all of us individuals who've started our own businesses in many ways, shapes, or form. It's just like, this is possible. And for younger people looking up at these people doing stuff, it just shows a world of possibility. So it's amazing. It's amazing. It's amazing. I'm going to go into my next story. So there's a bunch. I think we're going to run out of time to do all of them. But I had for episode 18, so you guys pick what we're going to talk about. We had Stealthily Lose the Race, which was episode 18, which we talked about stealthing, which was tackled in Michaela Cole's seminal series, I May Destroy You. And some of the news stories in that were, one of them was Beyonce's Black is King was released. And we talked about whether it was appropriation or appreciation, because there's a lot of conversation that came around that. We also had episode 37, OnlyFans of Black people not paying tax. This is where Auntie Nana raised the point that Black people should not pay tax. That was also when the Black people, the Black report? I call it the Black racism report came out. So my question for that is, like, how do we go about actioning Black people not paying tax? Then we had episode 54 with Derek, Mr. Jackson. Those of you who know the influencer who got caught cheating.
Derek Jackson! I forgot about him.
Yes, this was episode 54, that was in March. Yeah, March 21, where he got caught cheating and his Stepford Christian wife defended him and stuck with him. Allegedly, I'm sorry, but that's how I see it. And Samaria Rice, mother of Tamir Rice, who was shot by the police and killed. She actually called out Black activists for exploiting Black deaths. And I just wanted to know who's leading the fight against racism today, now that things may have appeared to have died down. We also had episode 70 with Auntie Kalechi. She was our special guest, which was a wonderful guest, one of our, I don't know, the third, fourth guest. Had a brilliant time with her. But we also had the England football and racism issues. And we also had Freedom Day. I think it was one of the first days of opening up for lockdown, and it was called Freedom Day. But are we really free? We also had episode 87 with Dame Baptiste, and it was also on that episode that was on the 1st of December 21, where we talked about Barbados cutting ties with the Queen, and Prince William had the audacity to blame the African population for the loss of wildlife on the continent. And so I don't know if any of you wanted to have a royal family check-in. So there's a bunch of stories there from a bunch of our popular episodes. I don't know where you lot want to go with it. Or we can move on to the next. So we had Stealthing, we had Black is King, we had
Mr. Jackson, please.
Mr. Jackson. Okay.
Yeah, I was going to say, so we go to Derek Jackson.
Go on, Auntie Sade. Derek Jackson, if you're nasty.
Oh God! Oh, you want me to do a rundown, a play-by-play?
Oh, you want to talk about him? Go for it.
The pressure. Okay, so Derek Jackson is like, he talks about relationships. That's what he does online, and he kind of this is my interpretation, tries to help women kind of like better themselves, so therefore they have longer lasting relationships, right? And he got basically caught out, he got exposed that he was cheating on his wife, you know, and you know, people were in an uproar about this, because obviously he's, you know, pushing himself to be this committed man who knows all about love and how to treat a woman, and what, you know, what teaching women what they should stand for, what they shouldn't stand for, and that sort of thing. And he was doing a dirty on his own wife. So then the wife decided to come online and basically give a statement. I don't know what it was, but like explain the situation that, you know, that's her man and she's sticking by him, and she done this in a bonnet. People were just like, blink twice if you need help. Like, she just looked, unfortunately, looked like she was under duress. You know, she says, you know, that she wasn't. She's happy to still be with him and everything like that. And yeah, I think at the end of that conversation, he then promoted his book, or continued to promote his book as well. So it was just like a whole lot of hullabaloo over Mr. Jackson and his Stepford wife, as you said. Yeah.
Any of you want to come back on that, or do you have another story that I read out that you feel like you wanted to discuss quickly before we move on to Auntie Farah's next stories?
I just wanted to add that she is still, like, her name is Danae Jackson. She's still very active on Instagram. She's still very much a born again Christian and writing Bible verses, but there's also like a strong lean into fitness on her page as well. And they are still married. There was lots of talk that they had kind of planned this grand reveal. Like, it was very,
Really?
they had months to work it out in how it was going to be done. So
Mhm.
from when she did the divorce to him writing the new book, and then when they were going to come public, in lots of the comments, people are like, this is all planned out. Guys, she's not under any attack. She's as much a player as he is. So I don't know. But that's what people are saying in the comments, that these guys are very much about their money and elevating their lives, and nobody should have any sympathy for her. That's what they say.
Yeah.
Auntie Farah, you got anything on that?
The only thing I will say is I didn't mind her in her bonnet, because we did a whole show with us in our bonnets, and we discussed that there's nothing wrong with wearing a bonnet. So the bonnet didn't bother me. What bothered me is that she did look like she was being held hostage. But,
Yeah.
you know.
The bonnet was part of the costume.
Basically, all of costume.
It was all a ruse. But yes, we did celebrate. I can't remember which episode that was. We did celebrate the bonnet, and we wore our bonnets with pride.
Wasn't it the next week?
Against Monique.
Monique was saying that.
Monique's
Yes.
comments.
Oh, yeah. When she
Yes,
said,
she tried to call out young. She said, "My babies." She said, "Babies, I love y'all for real. However, please."
While she sat in her house coat.
In her house coat, kettle, pot, everything. Before we move on, I wanted to quickly say, on a bit more of a serious note, is who's leading the fight against racism now that things may have calmed down? I don't know who our political leaders are right now, or our racism.
Do you mean in this country?
Around the world, who are we looking to at this moment?
So Tamika is still. Those guys are still very, prevalent. They're still about there. They're still doing a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I follow them, so I see that they're doing. The work hasn't stopped for those people. As you say, probably don't hear about it on the news as much, but they're about. Most definitely, they're doing things.
I think it's that. It's just bring it back to the forefront, and I guess it's a reminder that this shit doesn't end, because I think there's been a mood, and especially when you work in spaces like a diversity and representation and visibility, identity, that the fad of Black Lives Mattering is slowly waning. So it is in these moments where we need to be even more diligent and make sure that we are keeping an eye, like as you said, you're following and keeping an eye on what people are doing, and that the conversation doesn't die down. I know people get fatigued, and it is stressful, and it's emotional and triggering and all those type of things. So of course, protect your mental health, because it's a real thing. That's why when Samaria was calling out the Black activists who are possibly posturing for likes and actually being a part of the conversation just to be a part of the conversation, not actually doing anything, it'll be interesting to see who stays the course and who goes the distance and who was for real and who wasn't, because it is all again around that whole celebritydom and who you follow and who you invest in and who's really got our best interests at heart. So it'll just be interesting to know, or just who is there anyone new out there that's talking?
I haven't really noticed anybody new, but the thing is, it's like we kind of lean on a big tragedy to take place, and then everybody gets kind of like riled up again. And it's not that, it's the daily stuff. And that's what the guy that always wears the vest, his name is D-Ray McKesson.
Yeah.
There's so many different things that they are working on, especially in America, like actually, it's like Senate level, governor level, where you need people to be signing up and being a part of the voting and actually like rallying around, but it's more day-to-day stuff. And that's harder to touch people when it's day-to-day changes that systemically can make a difference. We kind of don't really have that here. I'm always like, I don't know what happened to any of our activists. Like, where is the guy with the glasses? His name's gone out of my head again. Lee Jasper. To me, it's like Lee Jasper was the only one that was always talking, always. But it's like, who else do we have other than him? And he has problems. Like, people are totally like, I would never listen to Lee Jasper. But who are our activists? Who's actually lobbying? Who's making sure that we're voting for the right MPs or anything like that? Like, where's that movement in the UK?
To cut you, but I think like there was this young lady who, unfortunately, I forget her name. She got shot.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, she was very prominent in a Black Lives Matter.
Yeah, she popped the UK Black Lives Matter.
You know what I mean? Like, a subsidiary of it, and she got shot, and it's scary.
Something.
Yeah, it's very scary. Like, we put yourself forward in that kind of position, and these terrible things happen, you know. Like, even Tamika Mallory, she talked about how they got kind of like cornered by the police at one point, do you know what I mean, and stuff. I think that's happened more than once to her. Well, so it's like sometimes like being that leader has well, we know history tells us being leaders of these kind of movements has serious consequences. Like, there's we recently, or are recently going to be featuring on Pod Bible. So guys, listen up. We will let you know when that's happening. And we talk about our different shows that we like. And one of them, I'll just give you a little spoiler, that I talked about was Jamel Hill's Unbothered. And she definitely interviews people who are like on the come up. So as you were saying, Auntie Nana, like people, especially in the States, obviously, like people who are doing the day-to-day work. And one of the women that I listened to a podcast on is Corey Bush. She is, doing amazing things. And she, it was just so heartwarming to hear her journey and what she's been through. And I'm not saying obviously everyone should be struggling in order to get to these kind of positions, but she has done so well despite her circumstances, right? Do you know what I mean? And like, she still continues to do the good work that needs to be done. So those people are out there, and people are trying to give them a platform to share their message and stuff. So it is happening. It's just not front page news anymore, basically.
And UK needs to possibly do a bit better. Okay, Auntie Farah, what stories do you want to bring to the forefront from the back front?
The back front.
I don't like that.
I know.
It sounds so wrong.
As I said,
it's very sexual. And I
know.
All I'm thinking is like a fanny and a bum. Like,
yeah,
it was just.
I just didn't like it.
I realised as I said it.
Like, none of it. Okay, so we've got a few. Episode 25, WAP against Cummings. This was in 21st of August 2020. And we were talking about Megan and Cardi B's WAP, which dropped. We were also talking about Lauryn Hill's daughter as she took to the socials to complain about her parents. Dominic Cummings, also the shame about the government algorithm machine they used to predict grades during lockdown. The question there is, how have grades been affected and are schools back to normal? Or we could talk about, this is probably what I want to talk about, or we could talk about fly, air, COVID, no vaccine class. And that's episode 35. And we recorded that on the 5th of December, 2020. And obviously, like it says, we were discussing whether or not we think that you're going to need a vaccine to fly and what you could do if you didn't want to get a vaccine and all the theories around that. We also discussed the Brighton Hove businesswoman who started a Black directory and was referring to herself as us and we and we're all in it together. And then it came out that she was not Black, and then subsequently got rid of herself on all platforms and didn't want to answer any questions, even though she did at the time have some people backing her. But basically, was she capitalizing on the Black pound and the Black pain? I think we all know the answer there. Episode 55, which we recorded on the 2nd of April 2021, Lil Nas X dropped his controversial, in inadvertent commas, video for Montero, can't say it, and it had the Christians clutching their pearls. Rochelle Holmes and Candy Braithwaite basically went back and forth, not with each other, but there was media back and forth about them because of the documentaries which were being made, one of which was Rochelle Hughes one, and it was about the black maternity scandal. We questioned, whether or not we felt that it was due to colorism. And the question is now, I suppose, has Rochelle's doc made a difference, and has Candice call out affected any change whatsoever? Then in episode 71, we've got the title Recycle Your Lips. I think that came from Auntie Sade. That was a good line. Yeah, I'm sure during the title you were like, Recycle Your Lips.
That was like an Auntie AK, to be honest.
No, I swear it was you.
It was Auntie
Was it
Nana.
Auntie Nana?
Was it Auntie Nana?
Why did I feel like that came from you? Oh, anywho. But yeah, it was like, you better recycle your lips, something like that. But that sounds like you. So the tax increase was announced to fund the NHS, which is really annoying because it's not them that's actually going to get any money, considering that the MPs have just had a pay rise. Vaccine passports were being introduced following all the controversy the year before. And just where are we now? I suppose we should talk about with these vaccine passports and the fact that COVID exists, but it seems like no one seems to care anymore in terms of movements because they want to make money. And that is that. And then episode 95, which I was not present for, but I like the number because it was 02/02/2022. And on that day, Rihanna decided to announce to the world that she gonna have a baby, that she a breed. Get me? or as they say back in the West Indies, Caribbean, she making child.
All right. Well, we must go into the COVID vaccine passports. Farah, you said you wanted to talk about that, so you take it away.
Yeah, so that was episode 39.
And 71 as well. I think we had it in two episodes.
So episode 39, we talked about, did we think it was going to happen? And then in episode 71, we talked about now that it has happened. So I suppose we've kind of like already touched on conspiracy theories and where they were going with COVID. But what I want to know is, at the time in episode, I feel like it was 39. Yeah, we went around the room and we said, are you going to have the vaccine? Do you think you're going to have the vaccine? And surprisingly enough, where do you think most of you stood?
We held true.
I think I said I'm going to have it for travel reasons.
You said during that episode, Auntie Sade, that it's too soon to run to get the vaccine.
Oh, did I?
Yes, you did, my G. You did. I think later on down the line, because we've discussed this so many times, but I think later on down the line, once we knew more about what the vaccines were and what it entailed, I think then you were very honest. And when you looked at traveling, you were very honest and you said, you know what, if it comes to shove, I'm going to get it. So I think you've stood your ground as far as that's concerned. But when they first started talking about it, all of us were a little bit like, I need to know more before you just start telling us, come and get the jab. Because at that time, they weren't really giving us as much information as they went on to give people. So I think we were all a little bit apprehensive and just like, I don't know if it's worth getting a jab just so that we can fly. And I said at the time, there's going to be a man that knows a man that knows a man. And sure enough, there's many men that know many men. Many men.
Wish flight fun me.
Wow.
Yeah, well, I'm not vaccinated and I've traveled. And I want to know when they're going to lift it all. And I'd like to hope that by the time I go back to my country and go to my second country, America, that I'll be able to travel without, I say third country, I should say, America, I'll be able to travel without having to be vaccinated. But the fact that COVID vaccine travel passports were like seen as a conspiracy theory as well, like, no way, they'll never do that. Boy, they did that and then some.
I'm trying to think what I said. Maybe, I don't know.
People were saying that, no, like that's madness. Never.
Yeah, I think people were like, that won't happen because of travel and all this stuff, and it will, that's
what's going to happen because of travel. Maybe I'm
tourism. People, it was like it might not happen because of it was how it will affect tourism. Yeah, but I think we've all travelled during the space of that time, and I'm not vaccinated either, and I think what I've noticed is obviously for me, I don't necessarily mind having to do the extras because this is where I'm at this present time. So I haven't minded having to do actually in 2020, it was a lot less to do than it was in 2021. In 2020, you literally had to fill in a form, and that was it.
We didn't have the vaccine in 2020. That's why it was easier to travel.
Wasn't it in the... Oh yeah, no,
The
at first I
campaign
think they
in
were saying that you
2021.
can't come there or some shit. They were closing the borders. But yes, so
Yeah.
basically, in 2021, when they started introducing PCR tests and all of that sort of thing, I kind of like didn't mind doing it. I don't mind. Like, I've always been like, at the moment, test me as much as you want to test me. I don't mind. Let me travel. When I traveled to Grenada recently, I'm lucky enough to have a Grenadian passport. So Grenada's legislations are that if you are a citizen, or if you work there, or if you're vaccinated, you can enter the country. If you're not, you can't enter the country. If you're not vaccinated and you're a citizen, etc., you just have to quarantine for a week, but you do have to take PCR tests. I think that's totally fine. As I was leaving Grenada last month, the restrictions were lifting pretty much like they are in this country. You know, now when you come back, you don't have to isolate. You just take a test. If you're not vaccinated, that's a PCR test, and it's like just your day 2 test. And if you are vaccinated, you still take the same test, but it's not a PCR, it's a lateral flow, but on your day 2. Again, you don't have to isolate. So the rules are becoming a lot more relaxed. I heard as well that New York are considering lifting some of their vaccination entry requirements, which will be brilliant because I definitely want to go back to New York at some stage. But I think because the virus has evolved, I wouldn't say it's dead, but the virus has most certainly evolved, and it's managed in many different ways, and people know more about it now. It is slowly but surely, traveling is once again becoming a little bit easier to do.
Yeah. Okay. Anything on that, or you want to move on to maybe? Do we want to revisit Rochelle Humes and Candice Brathwaite, or do you have anything to say? Okay, fine. Okay.
I do actually. I think I may have mentioned this in our group, or maybe it was a private conversation. But when she was on the show with Stephen Bartlett, and that's probably the first time she's actually spoke about it since it took place.
Who's the she? You're saying she? Who's she?
Rochelle was on. She did a podcast with Stephen Bartlett. This is probably 3 weeks ago, so it's up on YouTube now. You can see it, and she addresses what took place with Candice from her words. And I don't think she has ever spoken about this actually. That she did DM Candice. She didn't hear anything back from her, and she hasn't heard anything back from her since. And she received death threats, and also just lots of things that Candice said turned out to not be totally true. She did actually offer, production-wise, who do this with her, and the production team decided that this isn't the show that they wanted to do, and they encouraged Rochelle to carry on. And she also did have quite a few conversations about dropping this topic as well. Listening to her, I really, really felt sorry for her. I really was like, this is a real point that should have been discussed a bit more. And I would have loved to have seen her and Candice have a conversation about this out in the open, like how it was put in the public domain in the first place. I think it would make a good conversation for those two to talk. But also, I think the show, watching it back, it was still mediocre, but it was a good show because it's the first documentary to actually highlight this, that Black women are 5 times more likely to die in childbirth, but now it's gone down to 4 times more likely. But there still hasn't been an inquiry on this as well. So I commend her for putting her head above sand and stepping forward and running with it when everybody was attacking her. I really hope that Candice at some point does address this and maybe apologizes to Rochelle as well.
Anyone? Yeah. Anyone else on something on that? Oh, okay. Auntie Nana, go for your stories.
Okay, there's quite a few of them. All right. So we can talk about episode 13, called the Karen Coalition, where we discuss Bounty Killer versus Beanie Man, also Joe Budden on The Breakfast Club, and Superdrug selling COVID tests for £69. Can you remember when they were doing that, when they first came out? Superdrugs were selling COVID tests for £69. And then we went on to discuss when we used to have a feature called Black in the Day, and it was the worst beatings that we had ever had. I can't remember that one. That must have been funny. But the question was referring to the Central Park Karen at the time. The question is, are we still in a Karen revolution, or has it calmed down? A Karen's still out there wreaking havoc on black folk. Also on episode 43, come over it, you want it. Come over if you want it's a lockdown. It's quite an interesting title from AK there. And that was on the 8th of January 2021. And we discussed Jeffrey Epstein, who was spotted on an island, although he's meant to be dead. And then also we discussed things with the Love Island star that was that went against the lockdown rules in Barbados. And the question there is, how many other celebrities broke the rules, and what's the ratio of those who were fined and those who got away with it? Episode 61, can I jerk a watermelon, please? And that was on
no, Auntie Nana, read it properly. It does not say that.
What?
You said, can I jerk
Can I get a jerk watermelon, please? Sorry. I actually think my title was better, but can I get a jerk watermelon, please? And that was on the 14th of May 2021. There was a war in the Middle East. Turtle Bay's jerk watermelon dish, is it cultural appropriation in the food industry? The question is, how are we doing with our commitment to visiting Black-owned food establishments? I don't want to talk about that. And then finally, we have episode 77, and that was, we were graced with the marvelous Lady Phil on the 22nd of September 2021. And the question with that was the British baby shortage. Question is, now we're at pending war, what do you think they'll do to increase the population in case they lose a lot of folks in the war?
I told you not to check the questions, fam. I need to get it off my chest, because I'm gonna jerk this the way you jerk the watermelon. I'm gonna put episode 61. Yeah, can I get a jerk watermelon? Which is where Turtle Bay, which is not a black-owned establishment, but it fools people by selling fusion Caribbean food, decided to issue a jerk watermelon dish. And my question is, because we all then made commitments to try and do better at visiting and frequenting black establishments. However, I think me and Auntie Shada, I don't know what Auntie Shada does in London, but I think my 6 weeks in Ghana kind of
come on. That's
no, the thing is, I've been back and gone to a black-owned restaurant. So what have you done?
So
you can't talk about Ghana.
I can.
The UK, what have you done in the UK?
In the UK.
I have.
And also, you don't know if all the restaurants you went to were actually black-owned.
Hey!
It's true.
You know how many restaurants are owned by Lebanese people in Ghana? Don't try it.
I always strive to be fair and just.
What have you done in the UK, chick? What have you done?
I've been to dinner. I have been to dinner. Where did we go?
I was going to say, are you sure?
Where did we go?
I know we've been to the houses. I know that.
You've been to Soho House. You've had dinner there. That's not black-owned.
Not black-owned.
We went out and we went to Smith's. That's not black-owned.
That's your fault.
I didn't pick it. Your auntie picked it. Have you been to a black-owned restaurant, AK? Have you done that?
No, off my own fruition, I've been going to people's events. And Soho was just because of convenience. No, I haven't. I haven't. So I felt, what about you? You don't want to talk about it. Why don't you want to talk about it?
Stork. It's black-owned. Stork in Mayfair. It was amazing. It's Pan-African.
I've been there. I went there just before Christmas, though, to be fair.
Have you been this year? You haven't?
Well, no, but I'm just saying, it's only, I've still been to Stork, and I went within the time.
You haven't been to a black restaurant this year.
No, but the question is, what is our commitment? I have been to Stork.
So surely, if you're committed that this year, in the month, we've started from January to the month of March.
I haven't organised
one black restaurant.
I'm trying to think where I went to and what the
Oh
situation.
no! I've eaten. I've eaten from Uber Eats. I've had
Okay.
food from Caribbean restaurants probably 5 times.
Me too. Okay, not 5 times. I went to get
If
my
you put
patties.
that in, then yeah, I've definitely done that too because I ordered from.
Yeah, wings, my wings and my patties from the from the shopping.
That's included, isn't it? Like
Yeah.
you know, I've spent like £30 generally each time.
How quickly you're saying yes? That's what I'm saying.
No, because I just remembered I went to get food. It's true.
I've done
I've
that.
also done the juicy jerk as well. That's black owned.
Yes, where we supported
Yeah.
Soho. See, that Soho House was a juicy jerk special. Went to that one this year.
Oh, I mean, we were like thoroughly involved. We
Because
were thoroughly involved in that whole thing that you put on with TikTok. That is within
last
the
year.
frame. Yeah,
That's
that was
last
last year.
But
But
it's,
this
it's
show,
from that episode. It's from that episode.
No,
which
it's
one?
so
Yeah, I think so because it just said the question is in general. It wasn't like this year. It says, how are we doing with our commitment to visiting Black?
guys, watch it. Yeah, can you see your aunties? Can you see them?
No,
Can you
that's
see
not
them
the
trying to
question.
make it work for
The
themselves?
genuine question is,
I'm just saying.
how
You
are
should be
we
able to hold
doing?
their hands up and say with their chests that they have actively gone out to eat at a black-owned restaurant so far this year, and they can't.
But that wasn't the question.
not
However,
on restaurant, but I've eaten takeaway from black-owned establishments
Yes.
numerous times.
Okay.
once or twice for me, and everyone I've been out for dinner officially have been someone else's arrangement birthday.
I've been with black people.
But yeah, it's actually my commitment is to rate whatever I arrange myself purposefully has to be a black-owned restaurant. That's my next state in
Okay,
it.
you putting it out there, yeah?
Yeah.
When do you arrange anything though?
That's what I'm saying. I'm busy, and I was about to say the other word, but I'm busy. I haven't had time. I don't normally. And going to restaurants isn't my.
My point is not that's you're putting out a commitment that doesn't challenge you.
It does, because it means the next time I arrange something to go to dinner, because I don't go to restaurants aren't my pastime per se. Usually, if I'm going to like Soho House, that's like part of a day of doing something. That's usually my thing. Not intentionally, let's go to dinner at Soho. So it's more like a convenience. It's just there. So my commitment for myself is whatever I arrange as an event of going out, I have to commit to doing it at a black-owned restaurant.
All right. So then, additionally to that, if you put on an event,
I have to have black caterers.
you have to have black caterers.
Yeah, and the thing is, to be fair, last time I did that, I tried to, and then the venue didn't accept caterers. But that was always my intention for sure.
You have to go with a venue that does accept caterers, so you're
able. Yeah. That's my intention, especially with more planning and more lead time. Definitely my intention. That was always my intention anyway.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah, definitely. That one is has to be. The blacklisted lunch that we did, because of the turnaround, the venue didn't accept external. We were looking for that. So yeah.
So we've got commitments with caveats. Okay.
No caveats. There's no caveat with absolute lead time. That's cool. Hold on.
But do you see what I mean? Like it's not. No,
my intention has always been
support. It's not. It's giving convenience. If it's convenient, that's the thing. We have to get into the habit of doing it when it's not convenient.
That's why I said, for me,
suggests let's go out. Then you put a suggestion forward. Let's go here, and that being a restaurant.
Yeah, I'm saying my 2 birthday things, or someone else planned it, so I'm not going to change. They planned it. I'm not going to change their plans. I can, if someone's like, oh, I don't know where to go, and I'm like, okay, cool, let's look for a black restaurant. But someone set up a whole birthdays thing and invited me down.
Well, that makes sense. I'm
not going to change their whole mind. I definitely think if someone's thinking, where should we go? What would be a commitment is saying, let's try these black establishments. I think that's what I could do. But not if someone's already arranged their birthday and sent out their invites and sending me an invite.
By the end of the year when we get to.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Look back on it.
Yeah.
All right, baby shortage. Should we talk about that quickly?
Yeah.
If there's any suggestions.
What's the question?
Sorry, the question is, now we're at pending war, what do you think they'll do to increase the population in case they lose a lot of folks to the war? How are they going to get more babies?
What they should do is make the cost of living They need to reduce the cost of living. They need to reduce the cost of childcare. They need to do a lot of things. But these are things that they should do anyway, which is probably why the birth rate is low anyway, because people are considering the cost of things before, because it's just too much of a commitment, to be honest. Yeah, those are the things that I think go-to things that they should sort out.
I agree. It's reducing the cost of living and making it easy to have kids. Are they going to introduce that monthly stipend that like a common, like everyone gets this wage? You know, they've been talking about that.
They're saying that could come into fruition, because you know in Wales at this moment they're trialing out, but this is for young people. They are putting them in some type of education system, but they're going to pay them like over £1,000 a month, and they're saying that this is going to be trialed out with them to see how it keeps their ambition going. Like, so is it that you give people a minimum, you give them a good wage, like a good amount of money, are they going to be less ambitious? Or if you don't, does that make them more ambitious if you don't have money? Like they're saying, this is what's out there in the conspiracy talk, they're using Wales as a kind of experiment to see how it shapes, and if it's successful in Wales, then maybe we're going to have a national amount of money that they give everybody.
Then I want my student loan money back. That's what I want, because how am I paying for my education and people get paid to go to college? Are you mad? I want my money back, please. Or forgive my debt. Like, seriously, because me too. I want to stay ambitious. I want to right now.
Yeah, I would be a lot more ambitious if I had my student loan back. Thanks. And ambitiously spend it on myself.
Yeah. I want a minimum fee, like for living. Like, I think that's fair that you pay me like 1,500 every month because I'm here. I think that's fair. Don't they do that in Kuwait? Don't they have a universal living allowance?
A universal living wage.
Universal living allowance. I'm sure it's Kuwait that has
countries as well. I swear one of the Swedish countries have that. I'm thinking, but I definitely think for making it seem like we can just exist, you should definitely pay us. And pay me not to be a criminal.
But you know, there's the other side, don't they? I mean, this is things that I see on American sites. I don't know if it's real, but it's like your birth certificate serial number is out there being traded on various stock markets. So people are making money from your existence.
I've heard.
So if folks are making money purely because I exist, should I not be given a minimum allowance to be on this earth as well, just to be here?
This is the very thing I've heard, that people are trading our numbers so that then when we get drafted into factions that we don't know that we were drafted in, but people own us. Listen, pay me.
I see it out there. I see like the black man talking about it. I don't know.
Auntie Sade, what's your problem?
I think the unvaccinated are probably not going to be the same.
Yeah, you think our value's gone down?
I think
you might be in a different faction. You might be
in a different faction. Listen, I'm not even going to talk about my thoughts, but it's okay. Let me be in that faction.
You'll be in, like, you know, in Hunger Games, you guys will be in District 30. I'm going to be in the center of us.
I feel like,
look what happened to the people in District 1. Look what happened to you lot. Be in District 1. Crack on and be in District 1.
Minority. So
I'll be underground. Everyone's helping. I'll be helping, but I'll be in District 1 by helping.
I mean, if it happens,
what's it? The fronties and the backies, the tailies and the fronties and the freaking snowpiercer.
I feel like the unvaccinated, when it comes to it, are gonna be like, we're gonna be, our genetics are gonna be heralded more, so we're gonna have more advantages
because we're pure.
The majority of folks are vaccinated, so that suggests the majority
are pure blood. That's what we are.
And pure blood. It's not a chip, but it's the what. And you see how have you not seen that they want to potentially privatize the moon? You see how the moon controls us, the water in our bodies. Watch the chip now. It's not a chip, but it's a water chip.
Because the moon is a satellite.
Opposite, so we're able to live on the moon. and you guys are stuck here because you didn't take the
They're
vaccine.
also
No, we're all affected by the moon, though. We're all the
I
water.
mean, who knows? You may grow wings. Who knows what they gave you?
Maybe it might be that.
And also,
I wouldn't mind having wings.
who's to say there'll be wings that can make you fly? They might be like chicken wings or penguin wings.
Oh, man.
You can't do nothing with. You've just got them. They're useless.
The question is, how will the Earth be repopulated after war? We are talking about wings and chipping.
But I agree. It needs to be incentives. They need to incentivize people to have children. But then also, it's not just the incentives. The fertility rate is going down. So what are you going to do about that shit? Like,
I mean, there's another episode that we didn't talk about, or one of you lot mentioned earlier, about Will flipping talking about there's too many black babies. Like, which is, if you read through the lines, that's what he's saying. There's too many black babies,
isn't it? Basically, it's
so
our
they need to
fault.
make their mind up.
It's our fault that the wildlife is going out. And the thing is, now listen.
Well, this is the thing. Like, white people, if anyone, like the king of the whites, basically saying that they prefer animals over black people. That's basically what it's
Right. They took a plane and sent it to Afghanistan to collect the animals, but they left the people of color. They left them, right? They left them. Yet for all, in the space of how many fucking days have they raised $1 million plus 100 million? What is it? Millions of pounds for the people in Ukraine. Like, I was driving to work today and I saw flags everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere. You go online, it's everywhere. Yeah. And I'm just like, is there no wars in any other country in the world?
Everywhere.
Is everybody else not killing themselves?
No.
They're killing each other.
It is like, I love the fact that people, are trying to help in that sense.
Me too.
In terms of what they think they're helping. Let me just say that.
Yeah, there's that.
But I just honestly, and this like I hate the fact that Black people are just being ignored. Our experiences are being ignored and being told that it's just not true and minimized and all that kind of stuff. And it's just a reminder, like, in any kind of situation, we are always treated like nothing, and it's just awful. So I just want us to sometimes like stop participating in this kind of stuff.
You know what we need to do? Stop participating and breed up. We need to overrun the world with ourselves.
Yeah.
But Black do generally breed. Following on from what you were saying, though, Auntie Sade, I totally agree. What you're seeing is like some of the best parts of humanity. Like, I saw a picture in Poland where lots of Polish mothers had left buggies at the train station so that when the Ukrainians had come with their children, because they probably left their buggies, there's a whole load of buggies there. And it's like those parts are what you truly believe. When I think of humans, this is what we're capable of. But that's when we're capable of really having empathy for people, because it's sold to us that these types of people deserve our empathy, when it should really be all types of people should be welcomed. Wherever there is war, you should be thinking of the plight of the people in the war. And it pisses me off that that's not the case, because it's not sold to them. They're not thinking of various people in Yemen who are going through exactly the same thing. Saudi Arabia are bombing right now, but nobody's caring about them. There's not open borders for them to be like welcomed and leave, come to our country. That's not happening. So I don't want to hate on the Ukrainians who are going through this, because it's horrible. I've never lived through a war, don't want to. But at the same time, it is like, what makes you so special? It's your white skin. It's not fair that we don't have this same level of empathy for everybody in its totality, with what's going on in Congo as well. It's like nobody's talking about that.
I mean, is it? I can't remember which supermarket it is. Was it Sainsbury's? That's got rid of all Russian alcohol.
Yeah.
They've changed Chicken Kievs. They've changed the name of Chicken Kievs to something else.
I mean,
in America, I think a few of the media platforms over there have stopped streaming. Disney in America has stopped streaming Anastasia, the cartoon. Disney.
It's
Yeah.
getting a bit mad though, and they talk.
And it's when you think of things. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, I interrupt
It's
you.
when you think of things like that, like you said, Auntie Nana. My heart bleeds for the people of Ukraine. It really does. But I just don't like this display of empathy to only them.
Yeah.
You know, open the fucking gates to everywhere else. There's highlight the war everywhere else and the tragedies that are going on everywhere else. How many people were killed in Yemen, like you said, Auntie Nana? How many people? How many bombs were dropped on them? This is all important. And I do think, like you said, the displays of humanity are fantastic. And I love that. But I just wish it wasn't dependent on the skin color.
Yeah.
It's a huge gaslighting. That's what that's the issue. And it's just like, and it kind of just hurts. Like, I think as a Black person, it's just it's just like, oh God, not this again. Do you know what I mean?
Imagine.
And you can't ignore it. That's the thing. Like, I wholehearted. It doesn't make me feel good because it's like a pretense.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's just like, I can't, wholeheartedly be, peaceful in my emotion. I really can't.
Yeah.
On one hand, I'm seeing that, oh yes, the UK is helping, but you don't give a shit about the Black people, like, at all. And we're seeing it over and over again. And it's like, come on, man.
And also what this does is it breeds hate for the unknown, because you've got people that are from, different countries who may speak Russian, and they are being persecuted because they're being mistaken as Russian. Much like during World War I, where you had people who were Chinese or of Asian descent being persecuted because they were assumed to be of this. And even when the COVID virus broke out, people being accused of, being from a certain place where they can't actually, you can't differentiate where that person is actually from, and people are assuming, and then therefore, acts of violence are being forced upon them. It's just.
But that's why we should stay. It's so annoying that why should we have to stay out of the conversation? But we really should. We can't enter the conversation with our chest, because somewhere someone's going to remind us. As I said, we get reminded of our position in this world. And when we're saying that Black people aren't respected and and people say, "Oh no, it's fine. We've got diversity. We love it." We're always reminded. War between two countries, racism somehow is how.
Do you think that this is well? Like, how the fuck, would you deal with that if London got bombed and it was just like, people can get on trains, but not you because you're Black?
But do you know that's what would happen?
Fuck. Nah. Listen,
I mean, I believe it
in some areas, but in some other areas, that's not going to happen.
Like, they could say English people.
Why that's not happening in London?
English people can get on. Only Scottish people can get on.
Yeah.
Where are your parents from? I could see that happening.
But do you know why that's not happening in London? Who the fuck drives the trains?
Yeah, for sure.
But
all of that.
But the thing is, this is what I'm like. You could say that, but still, I don't know.
I hear you, but I think there'd be riots. We'd be rushing the thing. I'd be going to my brethren that drives the train and tell him to get one.
In the moment,
because there's a lot of us here. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Small in number, it's definitely more difficult.
In the regions, in places where I remember you got people in flight or fear, flight or fight. When you're at risk and you feel like your whole world is over, your true self comes out, and that's what we're seeing. Your true self will show. And trust me, I wouldn't want to be. I'll get on the Black train for sure, because I wouldn't want to be in a space where there's majority. If I'm maybe maybe in Hampstead, and I'm somehow trapped in Hampstead, want to get on a train, the middle class whites are going to say, "Yes, my darling, you get on first." You'll start to see all those people that talk about the chavs. They'll be like, "Fuck you!" Or they'll forget that. "Oh my God, darling, Tarquin." They'll be like, "Fuck you, Blackie, get off." All that shit will come out in the moment. Anyway, Auntie Sade, let's go through your news stories.
That's an interesting point, though. What could happen to us? But it would happen. It would happen. We would be all right in London. The outskirts.
London?
If you're in Tunbridge Wells, or you're in the country,
it's
long for you guys. It's long for you. Or you're in Scotland, it's long for you. Or you're in Wales.
You know what? And I do, I'm personally I'm against it. I'm not interested in living remotely where I'm the one in the village at all. And I really just don't know why people do that. People of colour do that. I have a
friend that's just done that.
I fear for them. I'm
I
always
think
like, we have
exactly.
to go
I'm
in a
there
pack.
too, because there's safety in numbers, and like you're isolating,
Yeah.
anything could happen. Do you know what I mean? You're just put
I agree.
back. Like
And I'll
Imagine.
never forget when I went to Disneyland many years ago. I went to Disneyland and me and my cousin, we were at the front of like the castle and we turned around and there was just a sea of white people. And I remember we looked at each other and we said, boy, they can really kill us right now, innit?
That's exactly always what I think.
yeah.
They can kill you, and they're all going to collude with each other and be like, no, I never saw them. And it is like, you imagine you're in your house and your family's coming to find you, and all the neighbors are like, no, they said that they was going up, they were going to France. They'll lie, and they all killed you and buried you in the forest. Like, no.
Buried you, left you on a beach, and then tried to say that you drowned. You was suicide.
You
That's the
decided
latest
to
thing,
commit
is it not?
suicide.
Is that not the latest thing?
I'm scared. I'm not doing it.
I'm scared. I'm not living where there's no one near me. Like,
Let me
yeah.
say,
I'm just hard.
Auntie Sade, let's go for your news stories, please, before we move on.
Okay, cool. I will try and do this as quickly as possible because, you know. So episode 31 was called 12 Years of Pure Bad Boy Nonsense, and we discussed if Trump's COVID was real. So he got COVID and we was discussing if it was real. Also, we talked about the black pure gym trainer who set up a 12 years of slave workout in honor of Black History Month. Complete dickhead. And we wanted to know, well, now do we still think that he was wrong? We also episode 50, the succession of Kim Kardashian, where we also talked about the BAME celebrity vaccine campaign in the UK. I think we've mentioned that already in this episode. And we asked, in the episode we was talking about, will Kim Kardashian dating a white man have a knock-on effect on our culture? Cultural knock-on effect, and the question is, in 2022, is indeed dating a white man? Has this affected anything? In episode 66, we which was called On Safari Hunting for Orgasm. You really making me read this out.
The titles are something else.
I will round applause myself for some of my titles. I think some of them.
That's Safari he used to go out with Nicki Minaj. That's a reference to. And a random fact that the Queen has. We learned about a random fact that the Queen has to ask permission to enter London. We talked about in that Vatican still exist. Controversy around the Holocaust and its protection of priests accused of abuse. And the question is, how do we feel about the Vatican today, and where does or should the Vatican stand when it comes to the current war? And then episode 80, Little Mix Up. This where we talked about BT's 888 app for women to feel safe. Did this actually go ahead, and do we know anyone that used it? That's the question we're answering today. And then episode 84 is Astro World, and we're talking about the Astro World tragedy with Travis Scott. And we asked the question. So in the show, though, we did talk about the Afro Care company, Afrocentrics, and their first British TV ad, making it the first time an ad catering to black hair care was appeared on television. And I guess we're asking, did we see the advert, and where are the rest of them? So what do we want to talk about?
Has anyone seen where the black Pure Gym trainer is? Is he still working at Pure Gym?
I haven't seen him. I tried to do a quick Google and I totally cannot remember his name. I think he went into news oblivion. Like, who cares about where he went?
Is it in the link? There's a link.
He's probably still working at some gym, but I think he got sacked from Pure Gym. But
Good.
Okay, and what else do we have? We had we've talked about Kim multiple times. What about the Vatican?
Can we just touch on that?
Okay.
We did theorize that she was going to get with a white man next.
Yeah,
and she did get with a white man next.
Yeah,
that's her pattern, though.
I do think I'm not putting this to Kim. It could just be in the story mix-up of things. There seems to be a celebration of black women now with white men. I've just seen it being highlighted that Zoe Kravitz is now with
Channing Tatum.
Channing Tatum.
Yeah.
I've seen their picture together. They're speculating. Well, obviously, Zendaya is out there with Tom Holland. They're together, and then there's speculation that SZA, the singer, may be with a white guy as well. I just saw it out there.
Do you know what? I didn't even notice. I noticed I just see them as like famous people getting with famous people. Not necessarily
interracial. I don't know. I just saw there was a thing for white guys that to me are a little bit grungy, a bit nerdy, and I did say at one episode that this was going to become a thing. I'm just piecing it.
I think Tom and Zendaya were dating before, but they just became public.
Yeah, I think I'll take Tom. I take Tom and Zendaya out of it, and I take Zoe because Zoe's. I mean, for Zoe, you'd expect her to have a Pete Davidson, not a Channing Tatum. Actually, you'd think she'd go quite grungy, considering that, like, you know, being very stereotypical based on her parents and how she comes across. So I'm even surprised she's gone for a very clean cut Hollywood, not clean cut. I shouldn't say that, but very typically, what's the word? Beef
good
jerky.
Looking.
I do not get. No, you see, even that you said good looking, I don't get the Channing Tatum thing.
I don't
get it. His hair always looks wrong. It looks, you know, like those boys that have that they cut their hair short and then they get gel and they get a comb and they comb it through and it gets that kind of hedgehoggy kind of vibe. Yeah. That's what Channing Tatum's hair looks like. Totally. He is not the one. He's not even half of the one. He is the none. There is zero, not a nothing about Channing Tatum. I just don't understand the big man. If he didn't take his clothes off in that film, I don't think anyone would care.
No,
I just don't get it. I don't get it.
He's very typical, that type of white guy. I mean, you know me already, at least down the line for these guys, but I definitely think that he's a very typical one, and it's definitely enhanced by him taking off his body, taking off his clothes and showing his pecs. I wouldn't attribute him and that to Kim, but it would be interesting to see if what she does has a ripple effect on the culture, because she does have an effect on the culture. I know the Kardashian star is waning, definitely. But she still is a powerful woman when it comes to affecting culture. So
do you think because she...
No, I said maybe we don't know.
Half Armenian, half white woman is with a white man, that's going to affect the behavior of...
No. Yeah, I don't. I'm with you.
I just want to clarify.
I'll say it now.
Hold on. Because I always say that I don't think that you can attribute everything. I literally just said it's not that she could, but I do think I think what she does will be interesting to see if what she's doing has an effect, because she does have an effect, and she has had an effect on popular culture. Whereas you maybe not, but the Kardashians have had an effect on popular culture. Of course they have. You think that they haven't?
I think it's out there, and the Kardashians catch on to black men are not the ones. We're moving on to white. And I think then the tabloids then also capitalize on that, and they feed that as well. So all I'm saying is white guys are going to be the in thing, and then we're going to see more stories of white guys being the in thing, and the Kardashians will follow.
I do not necessarily think that, one, it's going to affect people's dating habits because Kim's decided to go with a white man. It hasn't previously affected. I do not think that it is going to... okay. Kardashians have definitely influenced culture in one way, shape, or form. They've highlighted things that may have been out there already and brought it further to the platform, right? Yes. Yeah. I do not think that Kim deciding to go out with a heroin-looking man, of a Caucasian... I said looking man. I didn't say he takes it. I said looking man of Caucasian persuasion is going to influence a bunch of other people in their dating. I also don't think the Kardashians are sitting down saying, yeah, now we need to date white men. I don't think you're going to see Khloe with a white man. You're not even going to really see Kendall with a white man. The mum's not with a white man. I don't think that's what they're sitting down there doing. I genuinely don't think their dating is necessarily to do with the trend. I don't.
I'm not saying that. I never said that.
I don't think dating trends either. I'm with you, Auntie Farah. I don't think dating trends. I think that they do have an impact on, like, definitely. Okay, I get the cultural aspect, but they, like, maybe fashion in that sense. Do you know what I mean? But like, I think like maybe you see more grungy looks. Do you know what I mean? But I don't think that's gonna change. That it's not gonna transfer into. I'm gonna date this white man because he's an accessory, because that's what you're.
Yeah,
I think we're not looking at the, because I get the extremity, but the fact that what it is that I'm just surprised that the effect that the Kardashians have had on culture has been huge. And I don't think it's, I don't, because they are one of the most powerful families based on what they've done. And no matter, even like, you know, with anyone who's popular in the, but I think,
you know what it is, yeah.
They set trends, they set fashion. It doesn't mean to say that they command the whole world.
Appropriate. And that's the thing. And
no, I get that
all the time. So when you say they have an effect on culture, it kind of just irks me, because I'm just like, no, they just begging, stealing, and borrowing from everybody.
No, I get that.
And they make it like media takes it up like that. It's popular.
Exactly.
And
that's what I'm saying. I'm not giving them the power myself, because you know me already. I'm the one who's most, well, not the most. I say I'm reluctant to them, resistant to them anyway. However, that's exactly what it is. What they make popular, not because they specifically have the power to do it themselves, but society, because we know the society, what's more acceptable than a...
But again, I don't think that it's down to dating trends. I think that other things that you're saying, but not dating trends.
No, but I'm saying, but they affect everything, because I think everything...
I don't think they make it that, but not dating trends. I don't think so. I don't think dating black men, mixed race men, men of other ethnicities has made that more popular.
Yeah, I don't think if you went on Google Trends and you put in, like, when Kardashian got with her first black man, and then the dating trends of like how many white women, or do you know what I mean, like, are with black men, I don't think it's gonna match. I just don't think it's gonna.
That's a given. You can actually do that. That somebody's already done it. It was in a blog. They actually showed the dating looks of, I think it's either basketball players or football players that married women, and the level of blonde hair went down to dark hair once the Kardashians came on the scene. It was like that. It went up. Like,
isn't that also to do with?
It's not them.
But isn't that also to do with, as we said previously on this show, if you look at people in the 80s and what people aesthetically went for, it was flat bums, and blonde hair. And now that's evolved to a more curvy state. And I refuse to say that is just because the Kardashians.
None of us have said that. I never said that it's just because the Kardashians.
It's what gets fed. It's what the media machine deems as this is what we're going to push. And that's what I'm saying. It's not them. They haven't sat down in their covenant and been like, oh, we're going to have white guys now. No, the trend is white. So that's what they're going to do. And then that's going to be pushed, and it's going to follow down.
It might not be a thing. It doesn't mean that every single person is going to start dating a grungy looking guy. That's not it. But however, as they say, remember there was a thing where light skin guys are in, or dark skin guys are in. We had it in the community where everyone was on the light skin, as Auntie Nana says, the oily genuine look, and then the dark skin hunk comes in. Trends in looks and what. There's little trends that come in. Doesn't mean it's going to dominate the culture, but it might be a thing where now perspective, because like rock, look, there was a time when rock music was the dominant music. Now hip hop's the dominant music. Who knows what's going to set trends? So if rock music comes back around, for example, the look of the black kind of thing might shift, and it might go back to being a blonde hair with a blonde woman with flat bum, and the rock.
I think things are always going to shift.
That's what I'm saying.
Things are always shift. But I don't think that's because the Kardashians are going to start. My thing is, like I said before, they're not affecting dating trends, and I will stand by that. I'm not saying that they haven't affected some things, but I don't think that they're affecting dating trends. I think what's deemed to be beautiful has changed throughout history. It's constantly changing.
All I'm saying is that there's cultural leaders in these spaces that help dictate that. Like Farrah Fawcett was the poster child, and Marilyn Monroe has been the poster child. Audrey Hepburn. So even though Audrey Hepburn wasn't the one, she wasn't planning to be Breakfast at Tiffany and have that iconized, she was the poster child. Kardashians became the poster child. It doesn't mean to say that it's all down to them. I'm not saying that. However, society has shown that we look to ideal representations to move the culture forward. And Kardashians have been that for a very long time.
I just don't know if that equates to dating trends. That's
they affect all things. I'm not saying it's just that.
Yeah, but I mean, that's what we're talking about, though, isn't it?
Yeah, that's why I keep saying it, because the subject is dating trends.
I just don't think so, because like, if that's like, even in their own family, like, why is Courtney still a white man? Do you know what I mean? When everything around her says that she should be a black man, that's the trend in their family. Do you know what I mean?
I don't think that they're sitting down planning it like.
No, but I'm just saying, like, they should also be affected by what they're doing, no? But
they just there's always going to be an outlier.
People in their bracket, whatever's cool as well, kind of thing. So, like, I just don't. I think that they kind of date these men as a symbol of coolness. Do you know what I mean? So I just don't think that white bunching men are going to be cool.
They are. That's exactly what I'm saying. They will be
dominating it, but there's going to be a through line where this kind of look will be cool. Like heroin chic was cool at one point because
maybe.
But I don't think it's like no one should leave their man.
I don't know, man. I just think that this sounds like something like a magazine which forced to happen.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't make it true.
No, it's not. Thank you. That's what I'm saying. A magazine would print this shit, but it wouldn't be true. But it wouldn't be true. No, I truly don't believe that whoever you decide to lie down with is affecting general dating trends.
Yeah,
it's just not. I don't believe that, because individuals like who they like. That's it.
I know that. I get that.
I don't even believe that for a second. But let's see. Let's give it a year.
We talk about people being affected by society.
People are so affected by trends. Let's see.
I agree to disagree.
I don't think it will dominate. I'm not going to go and start looking at heroin chic men and saying because
you must, because the Kardashians are doing it. So
no, but that's not what I'm saying. You're trivializing. You're not. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying it like that. I'm literally not. But there are going to be a group of people, even if it's 12. There will be some people like, you know what?
Even if it's 12, then it means something.
No, but I'm just saying, like, it's not a thing that they don't affect trends. They do. But
I don't know if they affect dating trends like that, though. That's what I think ultimately what I'm saying.
If I was a nerdy white guy, I'd be pecking myself up like I'm gonna be in. I'd be getting ready. I'd be flexing. I'd be out there because I'm gonna be selected. It's your time, Tom.
I think it takes a little while also as well to become the new cool. Do you know what I mean? Like they've got to bypass every football player out there, every basketball player out there. Do you know what I mean? Like that's a lot of people. All the entrepreneurs. Come on, man. Do you know what I mean? No, I just don't know. There's a lot of competition. And
that's little crypto nerds, you know. The crypto nerds are coming.
We'll see, innit? We'll see. We'll see. But I don't know. It will be good to see some stats.
Stats can't be believed. Okay. Just one quick thing, just on a serious note. BT's 888 app, did it go live? Was there such a thing?
If it did, it's unsuccessful because none of us know about it and we don't have it.
I have not heard it. I didn't see an advert. I've not seen anything.
I just googled 888 app and it showed me poker and betting.
BT.
I didn't add BT, to be fair. So.
It's the problems with the BT.
Oh yeah.
There we go.
Okay.
Hold on one second.
What are the problems? It says it would 50 million to develop.
What?
And BT has asked for 50 million to develop a new tool to help women get home safely. It's not gone down too well.
Who did they ask 50 million from?
The idea has been pitched to Home Secretary Priti Patel. This is in the Big Issue article that I just quickly found. I don't know if that's the same one.
Whilst we're talking about Priti Patel, just very quickly, did anyone hear in the news today her saying that she's going to grant visas to all of these people that are the refugees?
No, don't get me mad.
No, but the thing is, you can't trust it. I think it's good that they're doing it, yes, to help the people.
I do.
You know, in 4 years they're going to get shipped.
Yeah,
they're going to get shipped. So
the amount you have footballers that from our countries that say they're 18 but they look 45. Watch the remix that I'm Ukrainian. I'm coming in.
Oh my God, there was a guy that was signed the other day and he literally was saying he was 21 and I swear down this guy was my granddad. I swear.
Stop it.
I swear.
Anyway, moving on to
I would do the same if I was Ukrainian.
I would do the same, of
You're
course.
gonna pick. You've got your pick of country to go to. Like, if I was Ukrainian at this moment, where do I want to go? UK, Germany. Like, you'd be
easy. All right, moving on to Aunties Know Best. So again, we're gonna do.
Wait! Before we move on, can I just say that I found Matt Simpson, who was the Pure Gym person.
Where is he now?
He basically, this article is from 2021, January's 2021, and he said, "I don't think I've been exposed to that level of stress as intense as that in my entire life. My whole life was in balance." So basically, he got a lot of backlash, and he said it happened on a Monday, and my auntie in the Caribbean had received it by breakfast time on the Tuesday. It went worldwide, and he said, though accepting the post was misjudged, Matt was still shocked by the backlash. And he said he received racial abuse, and it took a toll on his mental health, challenges in the workplace.
Sorry, Matt.
Oh,
poor Matt.
Did he really deserve that for just trying to get people to work out like a slave?
Yes, I don't feel sorry to that, and I hope, Matt, you take this on board and you have learned in the future that this is not what you do.
This is not what you do at all.
I do not. I'm very sorry for the abuse that you received, but if you are going to make suggestions like the one that you did, you are opening yourself up for this type of abuse.
And Auntie Farah has said that on that.
That.
You know what? Sorry, can I just say that sometimes the market is the market is the market. They will tell you how they feel about it. And it was a no. It was no, thank you.
Poor judgment. Poor judgment. An unpure judgment. Can you not laugh at my joke, please? All right, time for Aunties Know Best. Retroactive. We've got to go through this kind of quickly. So, guys, you got to tell me which one do you want to talk about. Quarantine, but still, from episode 1. Would you let your ex come and stay with you for the children? That's one of the dilemmas that we had. Episode 18, stealthily leaves the race. A mother needed help telling her child that she's not good at doing hair. Should she encourage her or tell her the truth? Episode 37, only fans of black people not paying tax. We discussed a listener who met a man before lockdown. And then, so obviously they didn't sleep together. When they did sleep together, it wasn't great. She wasn't sure she should leave him, but he was perfect in every other way but the sex. We gave some advice there. On episode 54, again, Mr. Jarrett Jackson episode, we decided to expand on, do all black men cheat? And then the other one, based on that, a woman was babysitting her stepson, and she ended up finding out that her partner and the stepson's mum were away on holiday. What should she do? Then
I remember that one.
Yeah, 71. Recycle your lips. Someone said the husband and the wife had their vaccines, but the husband wouldn't let her vaccinate the kids. And for some reason, he wouldn't vaccinate the kids, even though they both had their vaccines. And we gave some advice about husbands laying down the law, whose words should be final in the relationship. And episode 92 was a bit more serious. In the Privileged Molly May episode was more recent. We talked about friendship and loneliness. Which one do you want to revisit? That was a quick run through. We have.
I don't mind. Jeez.
I can't think.
Okay.
Go for it. What do you think?
Yeah. Do all black men cheat? Do all black men cheat? That was based on Mr. Derek Jackson cheating, obviously, and then the woman who found out her partner and his ex had gone on holiday whilst leaving her holding their baby, literally.
So yes to the first question. Yes, they do.
I think that's the answer.
I don't think all black men cheat. I think everybody is capable and has access to cheating. And some people follow through on it and some people don't. I think
that's fair.
I don't think more men cheat than women, actually.
I think that's false.
They do.
I really do think more women do things.
No. More men cheat than women.
Yeah, I think women are.
Who are they cheating with? Who are they cheating with though?
But are you saying, okay, so for me, when you say cheating,
not actually like
no, because when you say cheating to me, to me, cheating is you're in a relationship and you are the cheater. If you're doing a thing with someone who you know is in a relationship, you're not technically the person cheating.
You're not cheating.
What you're doing is wrong.
Yeah.
If you're aware of the situation, but you're not, you don't have the commitment to somebody else. Okay. So when you say that, you're not cheating. Yeah. I think you're cheating.
So you're saying more men in an actual relationship are more likely to cheat than a woman in a relationship.
Yes. But I do agree with you.
There's two different types. Okay. I think a man in a relationship is probably more likely to have a sexual encounter, physical sex. I think more women in a relationship are more likely to cheat mentally and have different types of dalliances that may not be sex in a relationship. But everybody has a propensity to cheat. Doesn't matter what your sex is. You may cheat in different ways though.
Yeah.
Nah.
I kind of agree with you.
I do think you're saying. I'm not against what you're saying because you might just have a little bit of a feel up that goes a bit too far. I wasn't
even thinking of feel up. I was just thinking you're on the phone or you're texting somebody. I wasn't actually thinking.
No, I think we
feel up or on the phone. Those types of things. I think women are way more women do that. Then
I don't think there's evidential stats that way more women do that because that's an easy conversation for anyone to have. I think lots of people can flout the boundaries of that because they know they're not doing anything physical. But we know that cheating, real black and white cheating, physically going out and fucking or having a relationship, there's more men doing that than women.
Do you think more men admit to cheating? Do you think more men admit to cheating than women? Because I think that's true.
Yes.
More men would admit to it.
Yes, I do think that's true.
No, you know why? Because men get caught. And
I think that's true too. And I think when men admit to cheating, they admit to 50% or 40% of the cheating that they've done.
Exactly.
Yeah. Because anyway, I can't even say what I wanted to say because that would expose certain people. So I can't say what I want to say here.
Yeah, man. I think more men cheat. I don't think it's more women. I think more women are more committed to staying in it. I think flirting and getting to certain conversations to get attention, yes, women can do that because usually they're lacking what's going on at home. That's what I think.
That's an excuse, man.
I don't know if more women are committed to staying in it. I don't know if it's that. I don't think it's like they're committed to staying in it. I just think men...
It's emotional, maybe.
Yeah, I think probably it's more emotional. But I also think that men use sex... Their mental... thought about sex, not all men, but some men, it's just literally, I'm just gonna go out and fuck a gal, isn't it? Like it's like, but it meant nothing type vibes. Well, they just want to find and conquer as much pussy as possible, is what a guy told me once before.
Yeah, but I also think men get caught up in the next relationship.
No, they can.
Yeah, and I think women, when I say committed, it's also because remember, even though stigmas are changing ever so slightly, we're still burdened with being single. We're still burdened with being, old unmarried wives and shit like that. So we're still burdened with the stigma. So women can stay committed to shit that they know they shouldn't stay committed to because they don't want to be single. I'm sure we all know a woman that's stuck in a relationship just because it looks better to be in a relationship than to be single. I don't know if men have that pressure. Unless they're priests.
I do think that men do feel that pressure once they get to a certain age. Do you know what I mean? I do think it's quite similar. Like if a guy is single at maybe 40s and stuff, they get a lot of questions like, what's going on, bro? Like, do you know what I mean?
If you're professional.
Yeah.
I think we don't really discuss that enough. If they're professional, that doesn't look good that you don't have a wife.
And especially if they don't have kids.
Yeah.
People start questioning their virility, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
They don't have kids.
Yeah. And it's almost automatic. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, what's wrong? It's almost like, what's wrong with him?
Yeah.
And that can lose you business deals.
Yeah.
So they have pressures as well.
It's true. You're right. Yeah.
Zero empathy. I was going to say, and in talking about staying in relationships, we had the woman that had found a beautiful, wonderful, perfect man, dated him through lockdown without touching him. When they got to touching and feeling, it wasn't great for her. And all her friends were like, yay, you've got a man. This is great. And she's like, nah, but he ain't busting my nut the way I need my nut to be bust. And now she's thinking, should she stay with him or leave him? I can't remember what we said. I didn't listen to the whole episode, but I just wondering how you guys feel now. There's anything?
I think I feel the same way I felt then. You can't say that he ticks all the right boxes, but not that one. Then he ain't ticking all the right boxes.
Not the love.
Because yeah, he if he doesn't know how to play with the box that he needs to learn how to play with, mate. Because the thing is, yeah, all right. What I will say is that when you're in a relationship, there's peaks and troughs in terms of your sexual, your relationship, I suppose. But you can't start a relationship off and the sex is whack. Now, with that, I will say, when you first have sex with someone, like maybe the first time, it might not be, and the mountains crumbled and the seas roared. It might not be that, right? That might take the next time, because you may have to give a little bit of direction. You may have to learn how each other's bodies go. But if you've had sex with this person 5, 10, 15 times over a period of, and then every single time it's whack, you got to move on. Because imagine having whack sex for the rest of your life.
That's why women cheat.
They're not ticking all the boxes then, are they? Like, I'm not sticking around.
Is that why men cheat then?
No.
I'm not sticking around for that. I'm just not. Because I would assume that after the first, second time, like I said, you're learning each other. You're expressing what you like and what you don't like. You know, fair enough. But if you've done all of that and the sex is still whack, and, you know, I can't remember if he was a quick fire type of guy. I can't remember.
What I was thinking. Was it that he was like a 1
no,
minute?
she just said that he just didn't like. He was just very, very prototype, very stereo, very, very paid by numbers.
It's night
And
time.
a few times, hello, it's time to have sex now. And then we've done. And then maybe it was just like she said that, you know, there's times she has spoken to him about it, and when she speaks to him about it, he's like, okay, he gets a bit excited for the 1-2 times, and it goes back to tight. So his default is just.
You know what? The world is open up now. Seriously,
This is it.
not a problem anymore. So go out there and enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
Find a partner.
And also, you could be my friend. If you're so wonderful, me and you could have a really good friendship. You could be my friend. You don't need to be my love partner.
Or like emergency.
Because what will happen as well, and I can say this with chest, right? You know, like when you're with someone and you're not into them anymore, that shows physically. I'm going to make up excuses all the time not to sleep with you. Yeah. All the time. I'm tired. I've got a headache. I've got a migraine. I've got work early. Oh, I'm working now. Oh, I'm on my period. My period will be never ending.
Yeah.
I'll be like, you know that injection that I took? I'm bleeding still. You're still bleeding. I like it.
I actually know someone who pretended about that and pretended it was on. She was on for longer because she just couldn't stand the situation. The guy. All right, Auntie Farah, what's?
I really thought you was going to say the guy was like, no, it doesn't matter. That's where I thought the story was going.
No.
I'm trying to think I've ever been in that situation. I don't think so, you know. I think I've always just like called it a day. Like
I had an ex once, and I wasn't into them, and we would sleep in the bed together. And he said to me that at night when he tried to touch me, I would hit him off me. I start going like this. I start hitting myself while I'm asleep.
Oh wow!
Why is he trying to move to you when you're asleep?
Terrible.
You know, like a man's trying to like poke you in your back or something like that, isn't it?
That's so. Imagine myself slap you off them.
Like
slap you off them
because I had reached that point.
Wow.
Of, I beg you, don't touch me, innit? Like I'm not interested.
I don't think I have that. I think I lose bad. It sounds bad, but I find it difficult to respect. You can't be around me if that's not working. It's over. Bye. Sorry.
Yeah, I just.
Auntie Farah, please go through your options and let's go.
Oh, okay.
Do we have to all go through these options?
I really thought you went through all the options.
Yeah.
No, that's mine.
No, I'm seeing.
Oh.
Let's pick one because we
just pick one. You know this is going to go on forever, no?
Yeah, I'm going to pick one. Hold on, let me see.
One.
All right, hold on. Mate. Wait, hold on. Where is mine?
That's why you got to do the mood music.
Bro.
I can't even find them. All I can see is the other thing.
Slow, scroll down.
I did.
Auntie Farah, married man misses his side piece.
No, because it for a minute. It seemed like the first one again. No, I don't want to do that. No, I don't want to do that.
Oh, this is why it kind of can make it exciting for the
You should
listener.
TikTok more and make sounds.
No, I don't want to do that.
Hilarious.
Okay,
I mean, I can go if you want.
go on. I mean,
Go on, then. If you got
Go on,
one,
then. I've got one. But go on. If you
Okay,
want.
Go on. No, you go.
I thought you had one.
No, I do, but like,
I was gonna say, this is one that I want to do, and this was in episode 25, and the episode title was "Whacked Against Cummings." So a man's girlfriend asked him to pick her up because she was stranded at 3 a.m. after her car broke down. Her choices were 4 buses, over $40 in a cab, and he didn't come because he had an 8-year-old son and the drive was an hour away. She was mad at him. Who was right? Who was wrong?
it was $400 in a cab. That was her choices. Yeah.
I said that.
No, you
I
said
said
40.
4 buses or $400 in a cab.
You said $40.
I said 400, bruv.
Okay.
You want the tape?
All right. Was she wrong? I mean, I can't remember what we said. I'm sure we all were like, bro, where's your get home money? But was she wrong to get mad? Should he have taken his child and picked her up?
I think we said no. I definitely said no. Maybe what he could have done is offered to split the cab with her. I think that's what I said at the time. But I'm not getting my kid out of bed to come and get you. There's other things that we can do. Let's make it work. But it's not fair on my child to drag her out an hour away. Like, let's make it work together. But I wouldn't just totally abandon you and be like, oh, that's dread for you, isn't it? How are you going to get home? That's out of order.
Yeah. That seems out of order to me.
Yeah.
I don't know what I would have said, but I would like to believe that I would say that he should definitely take care of her costs, but leave the kid alone, leave the kid sleeping. But like,
Yeah, I think that's a set. It's if he has the money, he should pay the 400 cab fare and just get her home.
Yeah.
He shouldn't do the drive. He's got a child that's already sleeping. It's 3 a.m. That's long. But if he really can afford it, he should pay. If he can't, though, that's your business, because where was you? He wasn't involved in where you was going out. So if he doesn't have that type of money, then you should just pay for your cab home and leave the guy alone because he has a child. I don't think it's fair.
Would any of you feel some type of way that if you called your baby like, babe, oh my God, I'm stranded? And he was like, oh.
No, if he ain't got the money.
what's the question?
And he was just like, would you feel some type of way though if you called out your man?
Of course. If he didn't, if he wasn't offering solutions with me, I would feel some type of way. But
Well,
no,
he
you're not coming to get me.
Oh no, that's raw. You're stranded. No, how are you gonna
Tell me
get
when you
home?
get home.
And you're like, it's 4 bus rides. Oh, it's $400. And he's like, raw. Have you got $400? No, I don't. I don't either. You know. Can you call your mum? We're not really gonna be together anymore, are we? Really?
No, we're not.
No, but but with that said, if I call him and he says to me, I can't even come and get you because I've got my child.
That's fine.
He's willing to work on solutions.
Also,
Yes,
I don't
we
have
need
the
it.
money.
What's the solution? But if he's acting bothered,
That's what I'm saying.
like
That's
it's
different.
nothing, or you're pretending to be asleep, you better wake up.
Or if he's like, oh, call me when you get home, innit? Like,
Imagine.
then we've got a problem.
There's definitely not together anymore.
Are you going to argue? I wouldn't argue though. You're just not
Because
hearing
if it's
me
your
as
friend,
You're just not hearing from me.
that's the way I see it. Like, are they treating me like how they would treat a friend?
Because you know they'd probably take for a bread. No, imagine that it's for their best friend, their work wife. They got up and took your son up.
What they would get out there? No,
I bet never.
I'm not even displaying. I'm vexed with this. I can't. My pride wouldn't allow me to get angry at this situation. You're just not going to hear from me again. We're not arguing, and we're not discussing. If you really are like, oh my God, you got to call your mum and get the money. I went missing, like the number 10.
The embarrassment, because how could my figure be like, imagine I'm coming to tell the aunties, guys, I was stranded. And you all know I was stranded. And I was like, yeah. And he was like, are you sleeping? Or
But this is what
how could I tell you lot? Farah wouldn't even let me finish the conversation.
It'll be a shame. Do you know what I mean? And it's just like, like when men try and say that, they want to be a man and stuff, like they want to be the man in your life, and they're supposed to like protect you. Do you know what I mean? And be there for you in your times of need. You're coming with this kind of energy. No, thank you. You're not ticking. The boxes are
I feel like if one of you told me that this happened, my comment would be, I really liked him as well. That's a shame.
It's past, isn't it? But imagine if you called up and he was vexed that you were calling.
Oh.
Like he actually was like, why are you calling my phone at 3 a.m. to talk about your
that's
I'm hanging up. I'm not even
You were never together. You were never together.
And you blatantly knew it. Definitely side. He has no respect.
You might even be the fourth on the side, not even direct side.
He doesn't care about you, like at all. Imagine being angry.
You're the free sachet. You're not even the coleslaw. You're not the chips. You're the sachet. You're the sauce sachet.
You know, there are some guys who do that, innit? They'll blame you and literally be like, you were fast going out at 3 a.m. and now you're going to call me and make your problem my problem, so I must leave my child. Do you know that my child is in the bed? Do you know that? And then you're there on the phone going, I'm sorry.
And do you know there's going to be... there's going to be women be like, yeah, you're right. I'm so sorry, babe.
There are women that have gone through that and they were on the phone like, I'm really sorry for calling you. No, I shouldn't have called you. I'm really sorry. And put down the phone.
And went and called the 90-year-old mum to help them.
Yeah.
Do you know what? It depends though, because sometimes you have to work brain. So if I was in a difficult situation and I needed their help, I'll let them be angry, cool, but you're coming to pick me up though. Do you know what I mean? You still need to come and we'll deal with that later. Let me get out of my situation first and then we'll deal with that. Because I'm not going to make my situation worse because of pride. No way.
Auntie Nana, pick a story.
Sorry, one more thing to add. The vindictive person in me, what I would do is when I make it home safe and my car's fixed, I drive to his yard and I let his tires down so that in the morning when he gets into his car, he can't drive and he won't know I'm fixed with him because I'm not chatting to him no more. So when he phones and asks me for anything, there'll be a dead tone.
Auntie Nana, what
okay, I'm looking at my one. There's nothing that's like standing out for me, but the only one I can't remember what we spoke about was okay.
The if you want debate.
The if you want what? Okay, all right. Episode 43. The if you want debate. The girl asks the guy what he's doing. He says nothing. She says, "Can I come over?" He says, "Yes, if you want." The girl says, "Do you want me to come though?" And the guy leaves the chat. We remember those memes that were going around.
Yeah.
Discuss.
I mean, nothing's changed, but it's like, is there any evolution in the conversation? If you want, because guys are really adamant, like, no, it isn't that. We want you to come, based if you want, innit?
No, I think that's fucked up. I don't think that's true. Because I think if a guy,
it's not the truth.
Sorry. Yeah, I don't think that's the truth. Because
it's not the truth.
Like, if a guy really wants you to come round and is bothered, he'll say, "Yeah, babe, come round. What time are you going to come?" That'll be the answer. If he's not bothered by you, but he doesn't mind if he gets some tonight, he's going to say, "If you want."
I think it's a simple one. If you've got to ask, "Do you want me to come over?" I think we can deduce that he probably is indifferent.
Yeah. Like if someone's coming to my house and they're passing by McDonald's on the way and they say, "Do you want some chips?" Do you want me to buy some chips? I might be like, "If you want," because I don't really care.
Yeah.
They don't really care. If you want, it's not someone who has a burning desire to see you.
Yeah.
At all. They don't it's
okay, if you want to.
Imagine being a fleeting thing, like should we watch this? If you want to.
That's what I don't want that.
That girl is the girl
or not, and the person's like, don't really mind. Like,
that girl is the girl that apologizes for calling at 3 a.m.
She absolutely did do that as well. She did do
that.
That's
also the same girl who, do you remember we
had the same relationship?
Remember we had one who drove from Manchester or something like that to her boyfriend's house.
Same girl.
At the house with another chick, and she slept on the couch while she waited for the buses to start. She's that girl too.
It's the same girl.
Same girl.
And if you're that girl, like, let's chat to you, because I know there are women that have gone through all of these scenarios. They've lived it all.
Yeah, sadly. But the thing is that if you want, but guys really are adamant that if you want isn't bad.
These guys,
women need to start saying it and see how they feel. Because I don't think they get enough if you want. That's why men don't get it.
Because they're not asking. The thing is, you got to stop asking as well. Like I agree with you're saying, because I'm not asking you if I can come round. I've done that in the past and been left in a situation where I'm just like, I don't know, should I actually go? I don't think I should. But then I'm just like, oh well, I've expressed an interest that I want to go. So if I don't go, now I'm causing an issue. Do you know what I mean? And then to go there and be treated like secondary station.
I was just about to say, was he playing computer games?
Yes. Yeah. So it's just
when the back is like that, and they're just like, yeah, nah, mate.
It's just annoying. So no, I don't think. I think if you want to see me, then you'll let me know that you want to see me in one way or another. You're gonna let me know
with your chest.
It's got to be a direct question and a little bit of a pursuing, like, because I want to see you to But if you've got to ask, never ask.
Nah.
Then I think I might have asked in I don't know if I did in the show. Is there a time when it's okay to ask? In what scenario can you ask to come and see your man?
I personally am not for that in any way, shape, or form.
I'm struggling.
Yeah, I was trying to think of one, and it was not coming to me.
Is it like, oh, I'm in your area, I'm coming up? No. Is it affirmative speaking then? Because if you're just random, you finish work.
Why are you in the area?
Yeah, that sounds stalkerish.
No. Look, we'll remove all the possibilities. The reality is you're in a situation where you happen to be somewhere where your man, where it could be like, oh, I could go and see my man right now.
If he's at work and you want to get some lunch, I'm here. Do you want to get some lunch? That's the only time that you can say, but that's a different scenario to him being in his home and you,
So there's I'm trying to think myself. There's no situation where it's just because, and also I think it depends on the nature of your relationship, of course, because not everybody's in a situation where asking becomes a thing, because you should be secure in a relationship where you can ask and it's nothing, and your man shouldn't give. And if you want, your man will be like, yeah, come, or whatever. So
you're on a train, leaving one of the Sohos, and you're gonna pass by. He seems to live in Covent Garden. You're gonna pass by Covent Garden. So before you get in the station, you text, "I'm gonna be passing by Covent Garden. I could pass by you." I would put, "I could pass by you?" ? I'm not actually asking. It's a very you're kind of asking in effect, because I could pass by you. I'm not saying I'm gonna come to yours. And if the person's like, "Of course, come to my house," then I would go.
I wouldn't do that. I would be like, I'm here. Are you in?
I can't do that, because who's else is in the house? It's too much.
I think I would ask, "Are you home?"
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm here. Are you in?
So they've gone out. It doesn't need to be embarrassment.
That's it. Are you in?
That's it.
Because if I said to you, "I'm here. Are you in?" Right? Not here as I'm at your door. Are you in? I mean, like I'm in
the ends.
Are you in?
Yeah.
And you say no. Then that's
cool.
But then equally,
well, you shouldn't be there now.
No, you shouldn't be at the house. This is like I'm at the train station or I'm about to get in my car. Where are you? Are you in? I don't think there's nothing wrong with that. Because at that point, that's then for him to say, "I'm at home. Come around."
Yeah. Exactly.
The annoying thing of you see with the trickiness, boy, you send the text, you don't get response. You get home, "I was in, you should have just come." What are you doing? What are you doing?
And then you'll learn to respond to me. If you really want to see me, you'll learn to respond to me on time.
Immediately.
You know what I mean? Because
that ambiguous window where they could be then just wrapping up the.
Imagine sending the text just hanging around. Who's doing it?
Okay, all right.
No, if I don't get response, I'm getting in my car and I'm driving home.
But if they say that they are not in, but you're close, would you not be compelled to just pass?
Never.
To see if they were
Never.
No. That's if I'm suspicious.
No, not if I want high. No.
No. Like, again, let me say it again. Never.
No, that's if I'm suspicious. If I'm like, I'm near and the man said no,
Imagine.
my fanny will go, oh.
I'll
take me and my sad fanny home. But I'm not going to go knock on the door for them.
No, you're not going to go and knock, but
you're just going to go
like,
sit and wait.
No, I'm going to see if there's lights, so I would not be able to.
I'm not doing that. I'm not
if
doing
I'm
that.
close enough, I'm going to pass. And
that means I'm literally next door. I'm in the same on the
street.
I'm going to pass.
Why?
I couldn't not. Because
I'm not on the street. And I feel like it's... Go on. I was going to say, I feel like if that even is a thought in my head that I want to go and check up on you, then me and you shouldn't be together. Because I don't want to have that relationship where I'm having those thoughts in my head. Well, you're lying to me. I'm going to come and see who's in
I'm so going
there's shadows. I don't want to do that. Just like I'm not checking no man's phone. Because at the minute I feel like I've got to check your phone, then me and you shouldn't be together. Just no. I'm not checking no man's phone.
Checking phones is definitely a hiding to nowhere.
Yeah. Just not doing it.
I mean, if
Sade, are you a checker phoner?
I think there's nothing wrong.
Right, I'm just saying, if your phone is unlockable, that's isn't that your fault?
But what if they did it to you? Is that not a violation?
I mean, yeah, but if I'm dumb enough to leave stuff to catch me out if I was doing stuff with man, I'm not saying I would, but if it was, then that's on me. Do you know what I mean?
Handle your shit. You know what it is.
I can't lie. I'm not above snooping on a phone. No way. I'm not.
I've never done it.
Serious? Oh,
I have never ever snooped on a phone.
Oh wow!
Ever.
Yeah, 100%.
No,
really?
that's I think if I can, I would. I mean, if I can, I would definitely look. I remember someone handed me their phone to look for something, and then I spotted they'd gone to Red Lobster? Is that the one in America? Oh yeah, so they'd gone to Red Lobster. I was like, the fucking guy's seeing someone.
Burger and Lobster.
Yeah. We broke up after that because when I saw that, I was like, where are we going?
Gone with their brethren. It's Burger and Lobster. It's no.
Women's intuition, and the fact of the matter is, I was like, what are we doing? Where's this going? And then we broke up. Subsequently, he was dating.
I don't even like when you're with someone, like their phone rings and you look at it. Like I don't know.
That's like an avoidance because it's like you don't want to know.
It's not avoidance. It's not avoidance because don't look at my shit either. And if I'm with you, I feel like I trust you. And if I get to the point where I'm looking at your shit, then I don't trust you and we shouldn't be together. That's just how I feel.
But aren't you just curious? Like, I'm curious.
Why? What are you looking at?
Us. I want to know.
If you're on the phone and you're talking and you're acting differently, then that's something. But I don't want it to be like every time you pick up your phone and you answer your phone, I'm like this.
Not like that. I think like I wouldn't be like, if a man's phone rings, I'm gonna look because I just know how man stays. Doesn't mean I don't trust necessarily. I suppose in the big ether, I don't trust a man. But hopefully we get to a point where we do trust each other enough. But I can never say, because of society and how it is, I can't. I don't know if there'll ever be. I don't know if there's a guy that'd be like, well, I will never even think. Obviously, your behavior has to make me feel like that. But like I said, the ex I will refuse to never bring up until I feel like I don't want to bring him up anymore. The ex acted normal when it came to that, and then. You know what I mean? So that
I do, but I just think I
wouldn't want to live on guard and every minute.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not doing that.
Not like that. You watch their behavior as well. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're shielding.
That's what I mean.
Go out the room or do
all of that, but all of that leads to
normal behavior. Then I just think like, why should there be anything to hide?
Yeah, if you're getting, that's why I'm like, I'm not watching your phone, but when your phone rings, if you're turning it down on its face, red flag. If you're leaving the room to answer, if you're then saying 5 minutes after you haven't answered the phone that you're going to the shop or you're going into the toilet, red flags.
But then also as well though, because like I don't put it above guys to be talking to the next girl in your face. So yes, I'm gonna look at the phone. Who are you speaking to? You know what I mean?
And they got it saved as Kevin, and it's literally
Pizza
Hut. Pizza Hut.
Or something.
That's very true. They love a different name, innit? They love it, or the biggest one, which I know they do all the time, is they just don't save your number. Your number's
Yeah,
not saved in the phone,
it's the
so it's
number.
just the number.
So it's just number, yeah.
It's just the number.
Or baby
But the
mother.
thing is, I will call as well. I'll call.
Listen, I will call.
I will call.
How am
I saved in your phone? I want to know. Like, I might not do with, like, do you know what I mean? Like, I'll just see for myself. It'll be like, oh, why did you call? Oh, I just need to find my phone. I just, you know what I mean? Or something. Like, just something stupid. It's like, you know.
Mate. All right, Auntie Sade, let's pick a problem before we go.
Okay, sorry.
That was good.
Yes. Okay, out of my suggestions, I am going to go with. Give me a second. Okay, let's go with the first one. A listener, episode 17, our dilemma was a listener in an interracial relationship is tired of people saying she can't be black and proud if she's dating outside of her race. Should she be confused? Is that the question? Not confused. Should she be?
What do you think, guys?
Hang on. So, she's black. Yeah.
Yeah. And she's dating outside of her race. Have people around her saying that she can't be black and proud.
Oh, okay. All right. So it's that pro-black thing.
Yes.
Yeah, that's it. It was the pro-black thing. Yeah.
All right. God. You know what? The thing is, to be black and proud, yeah, you can be, and you're dating outside of your race, cool. That's fine. I'm still taking you with a little pinch of salt. I'm really judging it more on your partner than the person. It's more how I see the partner reacting in being in black environments. If I'm believing that you really are black and proud. And if your partner isn't comfortable or I'm feeling any type of way, then I know that you're making concessions and you're probably not black and proud. But also there is the point of, what does my opinion mean to anything? Like, do you just live your life? If you're even looking at it, you probably have lots of issues that you need to work on, and you're probably not as black and proud as you think you are.
That. Everybody agrees.
Yes.
I agree with that, and I just think sometimes with people in the public eye, when you're leading a movement, I struggle. If you're leading a movement of black empowerment, black pride, black power, then I struggle, because like, what does all that mean? It doesn't reconcile with me. How would then do you find it? How can you find? I don't know. That's the only part that I struggle with. But everything that Auntie Nana said, I agree. I wanted to quickly ask about, leaving. We talked about men and stuff. There was one about the godmother who gave advice to a daughter, not to her godchild, not to go on holiday without her boyfriend, because her boyfriend might cheat on her. So basically, she was saying it's not wise to leave your man behind. Would you guys go on holiday and leave your man behind? Have you guys gone on holiday?
All day, every day.
Yeah. Yes.
Most holidays.
No, you can't come.
The majority of holidays have been without. So.
Yes.
Is there any insecurity about leaving a man? Do you feel like men are so insecure and weak that they cannot survive without you?
It's a really old school way of thinking about things.
Yeah.
To me,
you need time away.
It's the other way round. More people have inhibitions when they're on holiday. I would think for the person being left behind, you're blatantly more like, oh, what could happen when they're away, than the other way. But maybe that's just how I
think you're right.
That's the spotlight. I have the spotlight on myself. So I'm just thinking I would think that would be more of a concern. I'm away. So I'm not thinking about what's going on back home.
Please don't talk yourself out of girly holidays. When we're like, Auntie Anne's coming, no, she's not leaving.
No, but I've had way more. I've gone away way more times with my friends than with my husband. Way more. So I wouldn't even think of it. That's none of my business. Actually.
So if your mom said, if you guys' partner said, you know what, babe, no, you're not going on holiday. Have you ever not gone somewhere because your man said no?
No.
Never. Never.
You know you're
That makes me want to do it more.
Exactly. Like literally, the thought of it, I would laugh. My reaction was, I would laugh. I would literally find that really funny.
Am I your child?
Like, have Have you ever had any reluctance about a partner going on holiday because you just know how them get down?
No.
Right.
I have been with a friend though, who like this was like early days of Iron Appa, and her boyfriend broke up so that he could go to Iron Appa and be free.
Oh my God.
And he stated it all like I'm going on a lad's holiday, and so I don't think we should be together because I don't know what's going to happen
That's mad.
while I'm in Iron Appa. And again, I kind of laughed at the scenario, although it was traumatizing for her. But I did find it quite funny that he actually even like laid out let's separate, and if I come back single, not in a relationship with somebody, we should get back together again.
What
Like,
a pussy.
crazy.
Wait, you know what? That did happen to me.
No.
I didn't know what happened was, so I was dating him. He broke up with me, and I was just like, okay, this is weird. Like, this has come out of nowhere, but okay, cool. We didn't speak for like a couple of weeks, and then he came back. Do you know what I mean? So it was just like, but I didn't know anything. In that time, he went to Spain with his ex. Imagine. But I didn't find out until 6 months later by going through his phone.
But
So when he came back, he was like, let's get back together.
Yeah. And I was just like, I'm not too, do you know what I mean? Like, where's this coming from? But because the breakup was just weird to me, and I was quite young, to be honest, and I thought, I haven't done anything wrong. I couldn't see that he had done anything wrong. I just thought he got cold feet about the relationship. Do you know what I mean? And now he's had some time to think about it, and we're cool. Do you know what I mean? So then we started dating again, moved in with me for a little bit, all that kind of stuff. Then find out he went to just when I dropped that one and you went to Spain. Swear to God, it was beautiful. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, I didn't think I didn't. But imagine.
Bloody cheek.
Liberty. Somewhere in it, I'm like, okay, at least you're honest, but don't come back to me.
You can't come back to me.
You know when you just don't know, like you use me. Like I feel like fucking hell, man. I didn't make an informed decision. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's that.
Yeah, because there's no way you would have taken him back.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And I really thought I thought it was so weird. But then when you're around people, like my friends, they're like super romantic. Do you know what I mean? And they're just like, oh my God, it's meant to be, and all this kind of stuff. And you just kind of do you know what I mean? Like, okay, maybe it is that, and you just push down because I just thought it's weird. Why is it do like this? Is really weird, but try, innit?
I suppose.
Oh well. All right then. Moving on to what's made us sad, mad, and glad this week. Auntie AK, what's made me sad? Nothing's made me sad apart from the fact that it's sad and mad. My boiler is broken again and it's fucking cold. So I'm mad at that, and I'm mad at the cold, and I'm mad at the landlords who refuse to come on time to fix it. I'm also very glad that I went to the Waterspite Student Film Festival. Waterspite International Film Festival in Cambridge. This is the 4th year of me being involved, and just went to talk about the British Blacklist to an audience of Cambridge attendees, and love going up there because it does show the Black students there some opportunity outside of that space and stuff like that, and also educating people in the space about what the work that I do and stuff like that. So it was really good to go up there. And then also I had a proud auntie moment watching Auntie Nana's son on stage at the Barbican at the Boy Blue performance. It was very, very good. Very proud auntie. I didn't even know he was performing. I was randomly going because I got a press invite, and then Auntie Nana was like, hey, the son's in this. I was like, wow. So extra double bubble going down there. It was lovely. Auntie Farah, what's made you sad, mad, and glad?
So I'm sad because this is my final week at BBC Studio Works. So I'm sad because I'm leaving behind a lot of lovely people, and I've made some fantastic friends in the 10 years, 10 months, and it will be 2 days.
Wow.
Friday.
Wow. I'd be sad.
So I am sad. It's like you spend a lot of time with people that you work with, don't you? That become your family. So I'm sad about that. I don't think I have a mad. I think my mad might just still be my housing situation and the fact that these fuckers just don't listen, and it's so boring. And every day I'm taking pictures of the mold that came back in no time and sending it to them, and I've not had any response.
We knew it was going to come back.
Yeah,
I
because
didn't
they
think
just
it was going to
paid.
come back this quick.
Yeah, the bastard, they just
Emma,
painted.
Literally, when I got back from Grenada, there was mold, and my house had been vacant for about 4.5 weeks, and I'd only moved in and spent 2 weeks in my house. So
yeah, they're bastards.
Yeah. So I'm mad at that. I'm also mad at the general state of the housing, social housing, and the fact that people seem to think that if you live in social housing, that equals that you can live in squalor.
Yes,
squalor. And that's not the case. You still pay to live there, and everyone deserves to live in this Western country that they keep going on about. The state, like if you go on some of the social media pages of the last week and you have a look at some of the people, what the conditions that they're living in, it's disgusting. And England should be ashamed of themselves that they have got people living in these situations. Check your doorstep rather than checking elsewhere. Just got to say that fucking shit. Right? So that makes me very mad. And I'm glad that next week I've got a week off before I start my new job. So I'm looking forward to that.
Nice.
Nana, what's made you sad, mad, and glad this week?
I also don't have a sad. I really was racking my brain. I haven't had a sad moment this week, which is really good. I'm mad. I'm not even going to name this girl, but it's an ex Love Islander cast member who decided to do a TikTok, and in the TikTok there's lyrics that say the N-word, and she posted it and then went and deleted it, and it's gone viral and everybody's sharing it. And it just pisses me off that this kind of black rage is still being used all the time to kind of get her popularity up. And I really wish that all of the blogs would stop posting these people that continuously use our black rage to get popular. It's annoying. That made me mad. I want us to have a conversation with black blogs to kind of stop that. Yeah. I'm thoroughly glad that Okai did his performance at the Barbican. And the night is called A Night with Boy Blue. And this is his first kind of like a big performance on a main stage. And just, he didn't get stage fright. He was brilliant. Really, really, really good. And it was just super emotional watching him. I thought I'd cry a little bit. But the first night watching him on stage and thinking, this little kid who came into the world premature and has, from when he was in his incubator, was dancing in there. It's literally like, you really are a dancer. Like, you literally, this is you are a dancer.
In the video, he looked amazing. He was blatantly, I know I might be biased, but he was blatantly the best kid up there. And your sister-in-law posted a video of him dancing, and he can't have been any older than like 2 or something like that. And I was like, this little boy, he's got the moves, man. Definitely. He was
that young, like before he could even properly walk, he would like hold on to something. You know, when they're what they call it, cruising, he would hold on to something and bounce around dancing. So yeah, it's just I was so proud of him. So that's really made my heart sing to see my little boy on stage. Many more shows to come.
Yeah. Auntie Charlotte, what's made you sad, mad, and glad?
So sad. I think I'm just, I wasn't here for the last show, so I'm probably guys talked about it, but the Black people that are suffering in the Ukraine at the moment, obviously everyone in the Ukraine is suffering right now, but special heart, just goes out to the Black people that are suffering, that are being denied entry into the neighboring countries, and whose embassies might not be moving fast enough to get them out of those situations and things like that. Like, I just think, it's just awful. It's just, really, really just, devastating to watch that type of thing, that you're already suffering in one way, and it's just added sprinkling of racism on top. Do you know what I mean? Which it's unnecessary. And I'm mad at the people that are not taking it seriously. I'm mad at the people that are saying that, oh no, this can't be true. I'm mad at the fact that the president of the Ukraine is not condemning this behavior. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think that it shouldn't be happening. Not in this day and age as well, that kind of thing. And I just think people should really be ashamed of themselves. And So there's that. But I am glad over some TV shows that I'm watching at the moment, where I get my luxury time and stuff, or my rest time, is by zoning out and watching some shows. I'm watching Bel-Air, that Auntie AK mentioned earlier in the show, which I absolutely love. I just think it's a brilliant retelling of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and I'm just blown away by all the actors. I think they're just brilliant. Special shout out to Jimmy Akambola.
Yes.
He is doing so well. Like, I'm really happy to see it, like, him just flourish in this role. Do you know what I mean? And just reinvent it in this way. It's just great. And then I'm also watching Severance on.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes.
So good, right?
So good.
Hold on, wait. Is that the one where they lose their memories?
Yes.
I tried watching that.
Yes.
I'm going to say it. So go on, Shada. You
So
say
basically, they work at this company, and when they go to work, they lose their memory of their life outside of work. And when they leave work, they lose their memory of them actually working. So that's
what's the show called?
Severance.
Severance.
Yeah. It's on.
I just randomly found it and was like, that looks interesting. I'll watch that.
It's so good. It's actually directed by Ben Stiller, people, which is so random. I think anyway. But it's just so interesting, so good. Just like an interesting concept, I think, in general. I just like the way it's just weird, isn't it? It's a bit surreal, it's a bit weird. And I'm really enjoying that at the moment. So yeah.
Where is Severance?
It's on Apple TV. That's where I watch it. Not too sure.
Apple TV.
Yeah.
Okay.
Before we go, I've just got to give a special shout out to my mum, because my mum turned 70 last week Thursday, and she listens to the show. She watches the show. So shout out to Mrs. Brown on your 70th birthday.
Happy birthday,
and also a little shout out to my brother Nakim, whose birthday it was. Well, when this is, it would have been yesterday. But a shout out to him, but also not a shout out to him because he spoiled the surprise to my mum.
No.
Oh no, did he?
Oh, Max. Happy birthday, though, bro.
But happy birthday. And also happy birthday to my cousin Deanne, whose birthday it was 2 days ago. March is serious.
Happy birthday, cousin D.
Happy birthday.
It's birthday season. It's my bro's birthday soon, actually.
Happy birthday, bro.
Yeah. Oh, it was my nephew's the other day as well. It's just too deep. March is horrible. I don't like it.
And it's also going to be my birthday soon. You know, I would love to go somewhere, but you know, when people, you know, I'm not vaxxed, so can't go.
No, but we can travel, so don't try it.
Exactly. Pick somewhere where we can travel.
We can travel.
We can go where I want to go. So,
where do you want to go?
Can't even go to simple Paris. Can't even go Paris.
Are we allowed in Paris?
I love Paris.
I think we're allowed in Paris, no?
No, you have to be vaccinated.
Not at the moment.
Yeah.
But it keeps changing, doesn't it?
It keeps changing. Don't worry. We'll be fine by April.
By the time we want to go, we can go.
Give it a that's blatantly. In a month, we're probably going to be able to go everywhere.
That would be wicked if we went Paris for your birthday. I'm down for that.
I know, right?
Yes.
Cool. Serious.
All right.
Not actually really like that.
Moving on, me too. Moving on to popular opinion. Don't piss me off or hit list. So mine is, I don't know where it lays, but it's just it's don't piss me off. I'm sick and tired, of TV shows having their characters dance erratically because they're stressed. It is such a lie. I don't know anybody who, when they're stressed, put on loud music and go like that and start dancing like they're having a freaking asthma attack. I can't stand it. It's annoying. They do it. I think they've done it in Grey's Anatomy, and they do it in so many, and usually maybe mostly white type themed shows where they put on a rock tune and they start shaking their bodies because they're stressed. It just doesn't make sense to storytelling. It's like there was something else that we talked about that they do in shows. It's like, don't do that. Putting feet on bed.
I don't like it.
Drinking water from the bathroom tap.
Yeah,
tap, doing things like, that's it. My thing was taking the medicine, going, because you've got to show that you're taking
drinking out of empty cups.
I like all that
empty.
But it's just the things that they pretend that humans do. Please, guys, please comment. Let me know if when you've ever had a really bad day or really stressed, you put on rock music and thrown your body about. Not doing even like a dance, just throwing your body about left and right to release the stress.
I never say that I've been stressed and put on Tina Turner's Simply the Best. I haven't. I just wanted to say that.
I definitely don't put on rock music, and I definitely haven't thrown myself about, but I have danced when I was yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
It just seems like an unrealistic. It just irritates me the way they do it, and
I
just
need
think
examples. I want to see examples.
I'm gonna find them. It's just so annoying, and I'll stop there. It just pisses me off. And also, I want to. Maybe it's a topic that we have later on, but I want to explore the use of Black music as scene music in non-Black shows. It's starting to annoy me, and I don't know if it's because Black music is popular because now it's the dominant music, or is it because we're happy to license out our tunes and we get money, obviously distribution and money and copyright and license, whatever it is, licensing, so we get the money. Or is it because we don't own the tracks and it's cheaper to use Black tunes than, say, a Taylor Swift tune or something like that? Either way, it makes me think of culture vulturing. It's irritating. And I watched The Dropout, another show about another white person who was able to convince the masses that they are of their truths and they're lying. It's about the woman that, I can't remember the name of the drug.
I've put that on my favourites to start watching too.
So basically, she invents... Seinfeld,
yeah, she's in it.
She about the woman who basically came up with a patent to test blood, and she was basically lying, and she got millions. Again,
she lied.
Yeah, and in that, a lot of the background music is background music is hip hop, and it's weird to me. And there's a scene where she, again, angry in the car, singing and dancing violently in the car to a Missy Elliott tune, and it's like it doesn't actually fit the scene. And so it's just like, I don't know. Auntie Shadi, what are you going to justify?
I'm trying to say, first of all, like, like white people are big consumers of Black music. So you really don't know. But this is also, who is the person in charge of sound? So, like, do you know what I mean? Is this like someone having the opportunity to be able to give these tracks some space? Yeah. But yeah, I mean,
it's a conversation to be had. Because I think
I feel like it's a discussion.
It is.
Yeah. I think it's almost both of the reasons that you suggested, and I'm not mad at it. But I get.
Yeah, I'm not mad at it.
I'm not mad at it because they still get money.
I'm still mad at it right now.
I'm mad at the intent because I think you know what it was, because back in the day they used to be like all the adverts used to have like Black old school like 50s and 60s tunes, for example, and we knew then that the record labels owned those tracks and the Black people didn't, so there used to be a recycling. But you wouldn't have it's not often you get an Elvis track because they have their copyright, there's ownership in different places. So that's the part that makes me a little bit mad. If Tribe Called Quest is licensed out a track and they're getting the tunes, fine. But if it's the record label that owns it and it's not really going back to and it's cheaper to use that rather than a Taylor Swift, because I don't often hear, do you know what I mean? I don't know. It's a discussion anyway.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, the license. Do you know what? So are you talking about things like in Bridget Jones, like where she starts dancing and so, or she does like All By Myself in her? Does that, because I think that makes sense.
No, that makes sense. I think there's a particular way to do, and I'll try and find some, because it's like, you have this problem and you can't find the references. I just think it's the way that they dance. And there was a film that I watched, an indie film, and it was just like, you just want to see this little girl writhing around. It was so annoying, just flinging her body, and they do that, and they just like run up and down the bedroom and shake their hair because I'm stressed and like I'm so angry at the world, so I'm going to shake.
Don't you think that they do it? Because sometimes, like in like a work thing or something, like when they do team bonding, like relax, like kind of thing, and they'll put on a track and they'll be like, yeah, just shake your body out and stuff. I find it really
good. And maybe it's something that people do in a different community that I don't know.
We don't know, because
maybe I don't know, but at the moment,
and also like headbanging is a thing. Like in
headbanging is a thing.
What's that show about the woman, the woman who became the woman's friend and she killed her husband by accident?
Yeah, that show. I know what one you're talking about.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? And she goes in the car and she like does headbanging to rock music.
Yeah.
But again,
the thing. I used to headbang when I went to school in Wimbledon. I had a grunge phase. I get it. It's just this particular scenery in a show. It pisses me off, and I put it alongside going donk, donk, to take a tap. That's where I put it.
That's absolutely pretend. Because yeah, for sure. That's overacting, basically.
My point. Thank you. Anyway, guys, that was the recap of the 100th ever episode of Your Aunties Could Never. Thank you so much for sticking with us, for seeing us through the highs, the lows, the joys, the pain of what it is to bring a podcast to life every week, pretty much consistently since March of 2020. Thank you so much, guys. I really, really appreciate your support, and that we got to episode 100. It's not been easy, but it's been fucking amazing. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to join us every Tuesday live at 5 p.m. usually, UK time. And don't forget to rate us and comment on Spotify and stuff like that. And remember, you can watch us back on YouTube and on Facebook and somewhere else. That's it, isn't it? Yeah.
Facebook to watch us back. Yeah, those.
Yeah. I was thinking there's a missing trick. It's because sometimes we do IG lives as well. Sometimes we're random and we go live and we talk about stuff. So yeah, thank you so much. I am Auntie AK, and I'm saying goodbye with
Auntie Farah, who still doesn't understand why you choose to do this at the end of the show now.
I like it.
Auntie Nana
and Auntie Sade.
Bye, guys. Bye. Bye. Take care. Be safe.